Hello and welcome to what was formerly known as a Bergkamp Wonderland and is currently known as I'm walking my fish today. I'm getting my toenails cut. I'm having my earlobes rubbed podcast because no one could be fucking bothered anymore. Oh, you can't swear in the first 5 minutes. Well, that's the 2p we would have made down the drain. Anyway, it's me and it's Kris. Oh, Kris, how you doing? It's been a while.
Hello, how's it going? Yeah, I sort of forget what podcasting is these days because I haven't done one of these for a while, and the French pod's taken hiatus because of work. So it's like we don't exist anymore, much like Arsenal in the attack.
Yeah, it's just well, I mean, I didn't even watch. Do you watch? Well, I know the answer to this, but did you watch the game today?
I did. So I ran a half marathon this morning, so I've mainly been sort of splodged on the sofa since then. Yeah. So I watched the Forest Leicester game. That was quite funny. And then I will confess at 2-0 I say turned off. I didn't technically turn the TV off, but I disappeared into the kitchen to make some din-dins and do some chores. So it was on, but I must confess I was quite surprised when I ambled back into the living room and saw it was 2-2. I can't lie. So I have caught up on it since, but I suspect that's not really what we're here to talk about today, but
I didn't even watch it. I said in the WhatsApp group yesterday I said I'm not going to watch it. I'm not watching any more games for the rest of the season. I am absolutely done with Arteta and the club and the players. I just can't be bothered. So I watched the British Touring Cars. That was thoroughly entertaining, which if you do watch the Touring Cars and you can't manage to get it on ITV because they don't show the replays properly, there's a bloke on YouTube who puts the entire races on about half hour after they finished. Oh, back of the net. Lots of people, lots of faces there. Hente, Luca, Matt, Ronry, a certain Mr. Walker, who's been too busy jet-setting around the world. I think, where was he last? Was he in LA watching baseball, his new favourite sport? Is that where you were, Carl?
He was definitely in America. I saw it on his Instagram.
He's always over there. He was being carried up shoulder high like some Egyptian god throughout the whole of LA by scantily clad ladies. I went to New York. It was sunny. Right. That's what confused me. Mr. Macca is there. You're not alone, Danny, on that. Says Matt. Debbie Elder is there. Do you own the rights to the Elder Scrolls, the game by Bethesda? If you do, thank you very much. I loved every second of it. Carl says it was New York. Oh, Karen. So we've got two ladies watching the pod. Can you say that nowadays? I'm not sure you're allowed to. Are you? Two human beings, just to be safe. Carl says, I'm a Yankees fan. Well, I'm a Boston Red Sox fan.
Carl's other team are playing at the moment, aren't they? Charlton, the one he was going to get the season ticket for.
Oh, no, he's moved on and he went non-league. And then after that non-league, he went a different non-league. He's got to spread the love around. So, if anybody thinks we're going to come on here and defend Arteta, I certainly aren't. Well, I need to make it clear at the beginning. I don't want him sacked. I can't be bothered with the hassle. We're doing all right, but I can't stand him. I can't stand his football.
That's the most damping with faint praise thing you've ever said. I don't want him sacked because I can't be asked.
Yeah, I know.
That's the sort of thing that like Plymouth Argyle do. Well, we don't think managers very good, but we can't be asked to sack him.
It's like with Sian, who's now a good girl. She's 27 at the end of the month. Fucking hell. You don't remember her before she was even a teenager. I often say to her, I wish I'd have more children, then I'd ignore you because you're a twat. And I can't do that with Arteta, and I can't do that with her because we've only got the one. And I can't be bothered to go through all the bullshit, but I am sick and fucking tired of, 1-0 up. Fingers crossed, lads. Let's hope we get... Oh, no, we've drawn 14 games in the season. We've equalled our second most number of games in the season drawn, and the other two were 14 and 17 in 42-game seasons. That's the kind of bullshit that Arteta is doing. But it's not all going to be down and out in Beverly Hills because Kris refuses to be like that. He's Mr. Positive. So, Kris, let's talk some positive stuff before everybody switches off.
I don't remember that part. I don't remember saying I was going to come on and be happy clappy.
Well, compared to me, you're going to be. You'll be praising the Lord.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I thought when I chatted to you about doing this, because we originally chatted about doing this after PSG.
We did, and no one else said they're available, so we just did it between us.
Yeah, so I sort of figured, well, we'll try and make it work. And so obviously a few days have passed since then. I just thought it would be quite a good time because, like you say, we've got 2 games left. I really like us to beat Newcastle for 3 reasons. One, because I cannot stand their fans anymore. When they've won 1 tin pot and now they're like think they're Real Madrid. It's hilarious. 2, because it makes Isak gettable, although we all know he's we're not.
Well, they're talking about getting Goalkeepers, isn't they? Which means they'll try and get him for 70 million and flog us Isaacs for 150 million, and then he'll be his Real Sociedad days and broken all the time.
Yeah, I think the issue we might have there is I think there's a certain team that we played today that might be in front of the queue for Isak if he was to leave, but we shall see. But then the other reason, of course, is it would be quite hilarious if we were to beat Newcastle and that would cost them Champions League. That would be quite funny. So, and then Southampton away, which, sorry, Ross, if you're watching, but if we can't beat that lot, we might as well just stop playing football.
Well, Man City couldn't beat them.
Yeah, that's Man City. That shit.
And did you see one of the players came did an interview and said, they don't even play football.
You didn't want to play against us. What a little gimmick. But yeah, so just dialing it back. Yeah, we thought we'd just have a chat, and I just thought it would be quite a nice little kind of forum to just like respectfully challenge a few things, ask a few questions, maybe have a little look at the squad. I don't want to go like full transfer rumor.
You're saving that. You're saving your IT keys. You've already put one in the group.
I only know 2 semi well contacted people in the media these days. How times have changed. I fell off. But yeah, I just thought we could go through a few things and just discuss like how the week's been and where we're sort of feeling about it. And you and I have both been, as you made reference to in the intro there, we've both been through it. I mean, I've been supporting them 30 odd years. You've been probably 40 plus years.
I started supporting them in the summer of 1990.
Oh, okay. So, well, I mean, it's still a bloody long time. Let's put it that way. And long suffering we have been. So, but it's not all doom and gloom. So I'm not gonna, just to preface what you said at the start, I'm not gonna come on here and rant. A, because I'm too bloody old. B, I'm too tired. And C, there's no need to rant. Like, I know the popular thing nowadays is just go on, film yourself watching a game and scream and shout at the camera.
I was watching one of those of a Luton, because I hate Luton because of the League Cup final when they beat us. A Luton fan was doing that. Talking to the camera, we're going down, talking to the camera. It's fucking Luton. Get a grip. Even the people behind him were looking at it and going, what are you doing? It's
Luton fan TV. The Spurs ones are the ones that make me laugh, but they're hilarious. Although we probably shouldn't talk about them too much given where they are at the moment. But yeah, so that's where we are. So let's today was kind of, I mean, we will touch on today because, praise where praise is due, but maybe we'll dial it back to PSG first of all. I mean, what was your immediate thought after the game? Because I said the last time I was on this pod a few probably a month or so ago now, I don't pay for TNT, so I made that stand at the start of the season. I'm not paying for Champions League. I refuse. So I don't pay for the channel.
60 a year.
You do. I don't like streams, as you know. So I went for a walk on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday night we played them? Yeah, it was Wednesday. So I was listening to it on the Arsenal app. Adrian Clark and Jeremy Aliadier, etc.
Your pal.
My pal. And yeah, I just sort of like, I thought they summed it up quite well when they just sort of said that ultimately we were beaten by the better side over 2 legs. I kind of went into the game thinking that we probably were second favourites. I felt we had to score first. We probably should have done, but we didn't. And with my background of French football, I knew that PSG were never going to be a pushover. I knew that they were going to be, hard to beat, and so it proved. But I just felt after the game, my first kind of instant reaction was like almost like a shrug and just like, oh well. Do you know what I mean? Like there was almost a bit of an apathy, and I don't know if that speaks to where football as a whole is, because it's massively saturated, isn't it? Like it's everywhere you go, football. It's that sketch, isn't it? The David Mitchell sketch. Football everywhere, football. But that's how I felt. I just felt apathetic, and I sort of felt like we've been here before, and the immediate fallout from that was talk of the summer and what we need to do and all these war chests. So I see the war chest tweets have been out, and it was just like, we've been here before. Did you feel the same way, or were you just more angry about it? Or
this is how I felt after the game. Cover the mic up. Donnarumma, you bastard! Hopefully that didn't deafen anybody. If it weren't for Donnarumma, we would have been 4-0 up in the first half hour. Liverpool found that in the semi-final, the quarter-final, second leg. He absolutely dominated. How he managed to pull some of those saves off. He is possibly the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment. Raya has had moments on and off all season, but it was down to one player. There's one reason why we went through to the final, and that is him. And if we would have got through to the final, I was listening to the AC Jimbo and stuff. They said in the group stages that was 1 million games, Inter conceded 1 goal. You get to the quarterfinal and the semi-final, it's like they don't know how to defend anymore. And so it was down to one player. And if we'd be playing Inter Milan in the final, and there would be goals in that because they're not a great team. They've got some decent players. As Barcelona showed by scoring 6 goals against them in the 2 games. That's what I'd have liked. But it's one player. But nothing about PSG other than Cavi unpronounceable Shashkilia. He's the only decent one. And I think that Barkala bloke, he was good at times. And Dembele, when he played, he was magnificent. But he obviously wasn't fit. We were the better side. We had the better chances. Did you see that stat going round of how many expected goals for the 2 semi-finals that Arsenal were top out of the 4 teams with 5.8 and scored 1. Inter Milan were bottom with 3.1 and scored 7. That sums up our thing. And the reason I get so fucking annoyed with Arteta, you're on a cooking show, Kris, and I've given you some pack. We're making carbonara, which is lovely, but I don't eat it anymore because I'm not allowed. And I've given you your chopped up pork cheek, and I've got you your wonderful, expensive Italian cheese, and then I've given you the fluffy, freshly made spaghetti, and then you get it's simple. Football is simple. Carbonara is simple. You got your sauce, and then you're meant to mix it all together. And then Arteta's going, oh, the pasta. Don't need the pasta. The cheese sauce. Fuck that. We'll have prime the dairy lee in there. All the other ingredients. Fuck it. I'll take that out. I'll put fucking cat food in it. You've got all the fucking ingredients to do the fucking job properly, and you don't fucking do it because you're a stubborn prick who thinks you are going to out-pep Pep with half the tools that he's got. You're a fucking idiot, and you're getting on. We know you can do it, Arteta. We know you can do it. You've shown us many, many times that you can do it. But you go from going the Europa League run. Oh, it was beautiful football, banging in goals. I have got every single Arsenal game for the last 4 seasons on a hard drive. I look back at some of them and I weep. When we go and play games and we've got Rice, Jorginho, and we've got Partey in the central midfield. Ball to ball, square ball, square ball, square ball, pass back, square ball, square. Saka must be looking at that and Martinelli going, oh, just give me the ball. Can I have the ball? Please let me have. No. And on the odd occasion they get the ball and they do something. They go, right, 1-0, shut up shop. We're not doing this anymore. No, and there's no way we're going to be leading a Premier League game and then losing the lead 8 times in a season, equaling the record of fucking Spursy. We've equaled the record. It's fucking unbelievable. We have got all the tools, Mr. Carpenter. We have got all the God-given tools by the various gods that I believe in all of them to win the league. We should have won it last season. We should have won it this season. Because everybody said in the January transfer window, Calafiori, what, £40 million for a left back? We've only got 5 left backs. We've got the Ukrainian number 1 left back. We've got the Dutch left back. We've got the Scottish left back. Now it seems we've got the England left back. We need the Italian left back. They're not Arteta. They're not fucking Pokemon. You don't have to catch them all. 1 left back, world class, and then we have a backup. You don't fucking need 5 like goalkeepers. You need all them as well. We needed a striker in August. We needed a striker in January. And that is the fucking reason We didn't win anything. If we'd have got a striker, imagine if we'd have got Rashford, not an out-and-out striker. Imagine if we'd have got Rashford. He was gettable. No. Arteta doesn't want him. Arteta knows. I got this bloke called Merino who played as a striker as an 8-year-old. That'll do it. And at times it has done it. But if we'd have had Rashford, there was plenty of strikers out there in the January transfer window we could have come and bought and played them. And then we would have got to the Champions League final. All we needed was somebody up front who has scored goals regularly. If we'd have had Jamie Vardy up front against PSG, we'd have scored 3 goals. He'd have got a hat-trick. All the balls that come in, there was nobody there for them. And we've done that all season because Arteta is trying to out-Arteta himself. And I'm fucking sick of it.
Well, where do I go with that? So the first thing I'm going to say to you is don't ever mention the words X and G to me. Utter woke nonsense.
Bullshit.
Just absolute load of bollocks. I've never, to quote the great Brian Clough, who I believe once said, statistics never win games. Yeah, I mean, nah. I just I think it's Brian Clough. It might not be, but anyway, no. Didn't he say that Space never scored a goal? Anyway, you get my point. I like the eye test. I'm old school. I like the eye test. You can give me all the expected G you like. If it didn't go in the net, it didn't count. I don't give a monkeys whether it should have counted or shouldn't have counted it. I slightly disagree on PSG. You can give me their midfield over ours every day of the week, by the way.
Well, why are you talking about PSG? PSG have gone from the French Galacticos doing absolutely fuck all to spending, £300 million and got a world-class team in a space of, 18 months?
Yeah, they've also got a world-class manager.
They have indeed. But it's the players are there if you want to go and get them. As PSG got 5 left-backs?
No. And they also signed 2 players that we could have got. João Neves, who we were looking at, but we didn't want to pay that sort of money because he was a young teenager and a bit raw. And Kavika Kvaratskhelia, you said, who, to be fair, the work was done. PSG had done a lot of the back, the groundwork was done. But the point is, money talks.
We scouted him, didn't we? And a scout said on Twitter, I scouted him 4 years ago, but Arsenal didn't want to take the risk on him because was it his patchy form before? Well, no, they didn't know the player he'd turn into.
Yeah, serious fitness. I mean, but that said, and the weird thing with Donnarumma as well is that if you talk to any sort of PSG fans or French football fans as a whole, they'll tell you he's been their weak link for so long. Like we've said on our podcast, the majority of the start of the season. I mean, he was dropped for Sapanov
because he came there from AC Milan, where he made his debut as a 12-year-old, but magnificent AC Milan player, and he left there to come to PSG for the money, not to win stuff. For the money.
He's also not a traditional goalkeeper in the modern era. He's not particularly good with his feet. He's a little bit clumsy. He's not the best at crosses. But what he is bloody massive. And he's a brilliant shot stopper.
He dives like someone who's 5'8".
Yeah. He does.
Nimble.
Yeah. And he's a really imposing figure. That said, you said what annoys you about Mikel. I mean, I've heard quite a few people, even people who don't believe that he can do anything wrong, have come out this week and said like he needs to stop this post-match waffle. He needs to stop this utter nonsense of we were the best team in the Champions League. We were, by far the best team over 2 legs. Their bench came over and said that we were the best team, which Luis Enrique has emphatically denied, by the way. Like, I don't get me wrong. I understand in the era we live in, it's you can't this isn't Neil Warnock era. You can't come out after a game and the interviewer says in front of Sky, like, how did you feel you got on today, Mikel? Well, I thought we were fucking shit. Like, you can't do that. Like, I understand. I know these people are media trained within an inch of their lives, and I know that they've got to say things positively. But people say that the reason Mikel does that is because he wants his players to feel loved. He wants them to know that they're appreciated. Let me take you back, dear viewer, dear listener. Let me take you back to a little documentary. You might have remembered us doing this on Prime. Did he speak to them like he loved them in that series? Did he fuck? I mean, he was in their faces. So don't give me this. He's a lovey-dovey, cuddly manager and behind the scenes. He rattles those players. He drills them within an inch of his life. We know he's a micromanager. Like, he'd admit that himself. But what he has done is instilled a backbone. He's instilled this desire from those players, and whatever he's telling this current group of players, they're all on board with it. You don't hear any of the current squad coming out and suggesting that they're unhappy or they're unsettled, or that there's no fractures in the dressing room. And fair play, that is what he did. He brought a group together, and he's brought this spirit together. And whether you believe it's because of a dog or a training ground or speakers at a trade, like whatever it is, motivational speak, whatever he's doing is working. But he undoes all that when he comes out and says such utter nonsense in the media, because what does that do? It fans the flames of these like Sky Sports and TNT and all this, who basically openly mock us, and they're like, look, they're giving us all this. Oh, we're the best team in Europe. Well, you are, because you've gone out in the semi-finals. Like, results speak volumes. You've lost the title to a bog average Liverpool side. I don't care what anyone says. This is not a great Liverpool side. It's three fantastic. Well, it's two world-class players and 2 to 3 very high level players who are playing above the levels that I thought they would get to in that Liverpool side. There's plenty of very average players in that Liverpool team. There just are. And it's been a really poor Premier League. Like, Spurs and United are 16th and 17th. Like, that is your Europa League final, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy. Well done, UEFA. That'll be a banger.
It's embarrassing.
Come on, United. Never thought I'd say that.
Well, it's fantastic. Yeah, United. Femi wants Spurs to win it.
Yeah, I mean, that's Femi. Behave yourself, fam. But it's the whole point is, like, you can't feed this narrative and say, that we're the best at this, or, our XG is this, and we're outperforming teams of that. Because if you can't back it up on the pitch, you're gonna attract stick. And when I say stick, for the record, I do not give a rat's ass about people on Twitter, because the way that people live now is like, it's fashionable to spend more time slagging other people's clubs off rather than supporting your own. Like, I don't really understand the logic for that. It's like, don't get me wrong, I love poking the bear occasionally, as you know. Quite enjoyed winding up Newcastle fans, for example. But ultimately, like, you support your own club. I would much rather see us winning games than laugh at Spurs being 17th. A little bit of both would be fantastic, don't get me wrong. But, like, you support your own team. So I couldn't give a toss what other fans say. Oh, Arsenal bottled it. Arsenal tears. Yeah, you're mature. Grow up. But when you actually look at the team you support, you want the team you support to provide on the pitch and do what you want on the pitch. People pay a lot of money, except Femi, because obviously he knows people and he's rich.
Yeah, I should say Femi's not happy. What he actually said is he hates Man United more than he hates
He wants them both to lose. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, a black hole and a fiery death would be what we would like on, that whole stadium. But if we can't have that, then I think we want Man United. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I just think I'm with you. Mikel I tweeted this after the PSG game. Mikel's the right man for the job right now. He is. He's also under pressure now. There can be no excuses this summer. We can't have another summer of like, oh, we tried. Like, and here's a stat for you, and I'll stop talking because I have just on. The last trophy Arsenal won, right? Everyone talks about how Mikel's come in and he's changed the culture and he's got rid of all the rats off the sinking ship and he's changed the dynamic of the dressing room. And he's brought in his players. Go and have a look at the squad he won the FA Cup with. They weren't his players.
None of them were his players. The only one that could possibly was Suarez and Mari that he both brought in on loan. And if anybody looks at the financial details of that Mari deal, my good God, that ended up costing us best part of 30 million. Paid a massive loan fee for him, about 7 million loan, and then we paid 15 million for him when we signed him.
But he was very handsome, so
he was
swings and roundabouts, like
See, I wouldn't be so. Go on.
No, I was going to say that's not bait, that's not clickbait. I'm not saying that's going. Yeah. I'm just saying it's fact. Like, people bang on something that I get really tired of seeing on whatever social media. I mean, I'm still on Twitter because I enjoy abuse. But one thing that I get sick and tired of seeing from the same apologists is, you've got to give him time. You look where we were 5 years ago. I got a news flash for you guys. That was 5 years ago. Like, are you going to say that in 10 years?
That's a lifetime in foot. Most managers don't last more than 3 or 4 years.
Exactly.
At a push.
Exactly. United have won more than that in the last 5 years. And look at the shit show they are. Like, if Spurs win that Europa League, they'll have won more than we have in the last 5 years. What does that tell you? Do you know what I mean? That's Spurs. So, it's not. This is not a witch hunt. This is not me saying he's got to get out. It's not about that. He's absolutely the right man for the job. He's absolutely a fantastic coach. He has turned this club around. He has done a lot of fantastic things. But that doesn't make him immune to criticism. And you can constructively criticize a manager without screaming and shouting into a TikTok video. Do you know what I mean?
Very true. I like Sharad Parler says here. It's any relation to Ray Parler, hopefully. Honestly, it's like they are part of a cult. Like, he can do no wrong, and the amount of protection he is getting is ridiculous. See, in the era of because we don't pay for this anymore, I can't bring up any banners. In the era of the hashtag Bundesliga bastards, if he'd have got us to the Champions League semi-final and second in the league, I'd be going, oh my good God. That is truly amazing, because most of those players are shit. But with the players he's got at the moment, to get second in the league is what I expect us to win the league with the team we had at the start of the set. A fully fit team, we should have won the league. And we probably would have won the league with a fully fit team. But you have to be adaptable. He made no lone players in other than a goalkeeper that he used once in the League Cup game, I think it was, or maybe the FA Cup game. And Sterling, who is unbelievable. He is done at 31.
You almost feel sorry for him, don't you, at this point?
How can you bring in a player on 200 grand a week and say, whether we don't have an option to send him back with his tail between his legs? So you've got we could cancel the loans for either of those two. Raya, we knew Raya would play every single game of the season. He's not an injury prone player, and get something else. Get another player on loan. The most important thing to do was to get that player up front. He had 2 chances to do it. He didn't do it. I mean, I've got a list here. At the moment at the club, we've got £116 million worth of unwanted players. Vieira 30, Lokonga 16, Tavares 8, Macrinos 4. Zinchenko has been at the club all season, not really been injured that much. He's started 4 Premier League games. Tierney, why the fuck is he still at the club? I love Tierney. I'd start him every time. He has started £28 million player, started 1 game this season. If you're not going to use them, send them out on loan. Between them, they've cost £58 million, and they've started 5 games between them all season. And one of those was today because we've given up on football. Loan them out. You've loaned all the others out. And then we've got £61 million worth of broken shit players. Tomiyasu, 16 million, not started a single game this season. Gabriel, 45 million, scored 3 goals while he was fit. 3 Premier League goals and then Sterling on 200 grand a week we're paying for him, and he started 6 games. And I think 2 or 3 of those just came off at half-time. Why are these players still at the club?
That said, though, I think we can both agree that it was nice to see Ron Weasley on the bench for Arsenal today. So
Who was that?
I don't know. It's just ginger lad. He might be work experience. I don't know. But there's a ginger guy who sat on the bench. I think he's called Henry Francis.
Oh,
yeah.
Conservative.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
He's a good friend of the late Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Okay, so let's break down what you said there then. So my first question to you is, we'll break this into 2 parts. We'll do injuries in a second. We'll do transfers first in terms of January. Which side of the fence do you sit on in regards to January then? Because you get some people who say that's on the manager and that he was offered Ollie Watkins and chose to not pursue that because that wasn't the type of striker he wanted. And then you have others who say, no, that was on the board, who didn't want to risk putting capital up because the summer, clearly they're going to spend a lot of money in the summer. So they didn't, they wanted to take the gamble. So judging by what you said already, you're going that's an Arteta thing rather than a board thing then?
Well, I think as the board abandoned ship and all ran away, one's gone to Spurs, one's gone to Nottingham Forest. So I
should say ownership rather than board then, in terms of like the money men, the Cronkies essentially.
I've got no idea who makes those decisions, but there's so many players that have. I'm just looking at where's that September 24. No, we won. Oh, there we go. Beginning of 25. Chelsea bought that young. No, that doesn't really count. I'm just looking for players that moved clubs on transfer deadline day. Nicola Gonzalez, that's the one. Didn't Man City buy him? Is he a forward? No, he's a midfielder. I know Man City did bring one in.
But the Man City brought in 3. They brought in Reece, the defender. They brought in Marmoush from Leverkusen, and they brought in from Frankfurt, and they brought in the midfielder you're on about, and Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Villa.
No, the one who plays up front, who's been playing now that Haaland isn't playing.
That's Marmoush.
Ah, yes. So he's come in. I mean, so he was available, and then you had Rashford was available, and the Brighton forward was available. I've got no idea how he's got on and whether he's actually died because he's permanently injured. There's been plenty of players that were available that you could have bought in on loan or no, only on loan. I don't want anybody not on loan because it's the January transfer window. You can't go buying players halfway through a season to fix a problem unless it's a 10, 15 million pound player. Then it's okay because you need to say like it's logical to save all your money for the summer transfer window and buy your players there. But there's so many players that are available. I mean, like who's the young bloke at Aston Villa that we went, oh, we'll make a bid for him at the last minute because Villa were going to get rid of one of those 2 players. Was it Johan?
They sold John Duran
to
Saudi, and then we looked at Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, but if we'd have come in early for Watkins, they'd have kept the Duran.
Yeah, but from what it depends who you believe, but from what has sort of gone around since then, the discussion was that Watkins was available, or that Villa were open to selling him, but only if we paid, I think it was 60 million. And the discussion around it is that we went full Suarez and said, well, we'll give you 40. Like, we tried to lowball them and they quite rightfully told us where to get off. But do you hold that? And we'll never know the answer to this question, so it's hypothetical, but do you think that that's an Arteta thing in him saying, no, because, and this is where I guess where I stand on this, I don't think you can hold the Kroenkes responsible for a lot of bad things post the Super League decision, obviously, massive screw up, like we all know that, but I don't think especially since Josh has been the figurehead of the club, that they backed this manager. Like, whatever you think of, some people don't like Americans. I get it. Like, it's a little bit xenophobic, but
I like Americans. I want to go and live in Texas if anybody wants to adopt me.
Go and live on a ranch. But they've backed the manager. They've set out targets.
I don't think they have a day by day or even week by week poking their nose in, asking what's going on.
No, it's
they're not doing. Who was the bloke at Aston? Deadly Doug Ellis.
Oh no!
Permanently going, what are you doing? Ringing up, what are you doing? What's this? What's happening?
It's a Zoom call once a week at best, and it's a meeting once every 4 months in the States, one in Europe, isn't it? But in a weird way, that's the sort of owners you want, isn't it? You don't want like Marinakis storming onto the pitch at Forest this afternoon. Like, what the fuck is that about? But you don't want that. You want your owners to be in the background. But where I sort of sit on this one is I look at it and I sort of think to myself, like, Mikel has got history of this. He's a very Goldilocks manager in terms of signings. Everything's got to be just right, and if they're not just right, he won't sign them. Gabriel Jesus was the striker he wanted. We didn't go for other players because he wanted Gabriel Jesus, and that hasn't really worked out. He wanted Kai Havertz. That has worked out in the interest of balance, right? But again, we signed Kai as an 8, and he's played as a striker.
Yeah, but say Havertz has worked out. It can't work out because Odegaard is starting on the right 8. Left 8 needs to be Rice, and then Partey behind him. So you can't play Havertz as a striker because he's not a striker. When he was at Leverkusen, he was a right winger, and so when he's coming in, you can't play a 9 false 10. That's the position they're asking him to play, and he can't do it.
But you can play 2 false 10s without wingers, can't you? If you've got, and this is where I know a lot of people have sort of started clamouring for the why can't we move Saka slightly inside a bit? You saw it today, watching that second half back a minute ago. They moved Martinelli central, We've been crying out for how many times have people said, give Martinelli a go as a striker? We've been saying this for months. And he finally did it in the second half. And lo and behold, Trossard came alive and Martinelli looked a real threat every single time.
I mean, that's another thing. Why is he going Trossard up front in the league and then Merino up front in the Champions League? Trossard should never play up front in any position ever again. Martinelli is like an absolute whippet, and he has got an eye for goal. And we all saw that in the Europa League run. And when he played for, I say this every time, he was interviewed after playing for Brazil, and he said, I had the attacking freedom that I loved. It was the happiest I've been, or something along those lines. And he comes back, and he's going, right, up and down the left flank, off you go, son. Rather than going, we need someone to play up front who can score goals. You did it when you were on trial with us. You did it when you were on trial with Man United twice. I've got details of every game how Martinelli has played at every level going down to about 17 years old. He is a goal scorer. He's not an obvious left winger only, but he just keeps putting him there.
He's also taken a lot of unfair stick in my opinion this season. Like, and I know Martin Odegaard's going through it. We might come on to that in a minute. I know we've always got to have one player that we have to set fire to and march through the streets of
the Abue effect.
Exactly, and I will never understand it. But I think Martinelli has been a scapegoat. Now, don't get me wrong. Is he the best at dribbling past players and the trick? No. Is he predictable? Yeah. But what he will always give you is he'll give you that work rate. He'll give you that what he did today.
He's a menace.
He's a terrier up front. He will always close people down. He will sort of get shots away. Like, he will give you that threat in behind. But we haven't played him at all in that striking role. Now, to be fair, Merino's done a really good job. Like, you can't fault it.
Oh, he's been magnificent. He is the fox in the box we need. Imagine if they said we're just going to play Martinelli as a number 10 and have Merino. I mean, Martinelli as the 9 and Merino as a 10 just behind him. And just play a more structured thing like that, because then you've got 2 players up front. And you're not relying on one person to score you all the goals. Even little things like that. But like Femi says here, can't keep having senior players on the bench, paying them hundreds of thousands of pounds a week and never trusting them. The owners must look at that as a waste. The amount of money that he has wasted this season, he's wasted money on so many players that are a gamble, or Edu did. We don't know. We'll probably never find out. Yeah, but the wage bill per game, per minutes played this season for some players is unbelievably, it's terrible.
You also can't go into a Champions League final with literal children on the bench. Yeah, that's what we did the other night. Like,
4 left backs and some 17-year-olds and a goalkeeper.
Embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. I know you mentioned Nwaneri. We'll come on to in a second. But going back to what we were saying before, then, so you've got that one argument of the January window, which everyone largely sort of says that's what cost us the season. I would probably say, I would actually go back to the summer and say that we actually dropped the ball in the summer personally, but January was an opportunity, and this myth of you can't do good business in January is literally a myth. By the way, Villa approved that, PSG approved that, but you've got to have your wits about you. Like, you've got to make sure you get the right deals. But that's one argument. The other argument that comes up time and time again, and is a stick that's been used to beat us with as well, is the injuries. You can't ignore it, but I'm on the side of the case that says every club's going to get injuries. Have we had more key players at key times than other clubs? Yeah, absolutely.
Combined injuries and shit refereeing has broken our season.
Yeah. And the shit refereeing, my thoughts on that. I think it's so easy to sit and cry about refereeing decisions. We've had some fucking awful ones. And by the way, Nicholas Jackson was sent off today for an elbow, and I saw somebody tweet it, and they're like, "What's the difference between this and what Bruno Guimaraes did for Newcastle in the game against us?" Absolutely nothing. If anything, Guimaraes was worse. So it's just consistency. Like, it is literally consistency. But yeah. But we have had these injuries. But does that not also open up another question? Why are we getting so many of these injuries?
Because Saka played every single game for 3.5 fucking seasons. Oh, boss, this is Saka. Teta, we're 5-0 up after an hour. Can I come off? No. No, bueno. No, you're not. Carry on fucking playing. All of the players.
his rotation it needs work, doesn't
because
it?
he has about 8 players that he likes, and the rest of them have all got fucking leprosy, and not even the good type. Dry leprosy, Papillon. You know if you know.
So we both agree that the injuries have played a part.
Yep.
But do you agree with me that you can't have that as an excuse?
It's a little
Because
bit
you've
like
got a future plan.
like Arteta. That was Riccardo. They're not coming till 9 now. That's good because I'll tell you they'd want to turn up early.
Yeah.
It's like Arteta would be the old Titanic scenario. He's the captain of the Titanic and going, yeah, we only need one lifeboat. Well, hold on a sec. What if we need more? There's a load of people. No, one lifeboat. Any more than that's a waste. I'm not going to waste my money on more than that. And then it's only going to be a lifeboat that isn't actually any good because everything's going to be okay. So don't you go worrying yourselves. Oh, we're sinking. Oh, we haven't got enough backup. Oh. And we saw this, like Des said, we won exactly what he said we would win in the summer. Absolutely nothing. I told you lot. We're never going to. I will stand by this. I will sit by this. We will never, ever win anything with Arteta. Maybe even nothing, even like a League Cup or a Charity Shield. We won't win anything with him because he is a part bottler. Have I said the 72nd minute thing against PSG? We're 2-0 down at the 72nd minute, and he brings on White for Timber. Nathan's got 9 goals this season. What the fuck are you doing?
This has happened time and time again, hasn't it? Bringing on left backs and right backs. Like, I know we use our full backs, but Jesus Christ.
He's gone full Arsene Wenger. The old 2-0 down, half hour to go, bring on Flamini. He's doing exactly the same shit.
I would disagree with that. If it was Arsenal, he'd bring on 17 strikers and take off all the defenders. That was quintessential Arsenal, that was. But I know what you mean. Like, you know, it does... But it's like you said, though, it smacks of not having the squad to use. Personally, the Nwaneri thing, I don't really understand. I wonder if he hasn't been in great form. Like, we do have to say that. Like,
he's 12. Form doesn't exist.
No, but the one argument I would say with the PSG thing, like a few people have said, the kid's got a shot in him. You know, he's direct. He runs at people. He takes shots from distance. Like the one thing that we just went out with a whimper in the end, didn't we? Really, on
Femi says maybe he's got a 10-goal bonus in his contract. Yeah, but he's on 500 quid a week, so he's doing it.
That is possible.
Femi has got a good question. He says, what is going to change about injuries next season? That excuse won't run next season. Didn't run this season, Femi.
Well, part of the... Yeah, and we will touch on the summer, but one of the first things I think that they need to do in the summer, all jokes aside, is I do think they need to look at the strength and conditioning side of things, you know, the physio side of things. Is it a coincidence that once the physio that we had, I forget his name, the chap who went to Man United?
Shad Forsyth?
No, the other guy. No. Dr. Gary, is his name Gary? Dr. O'Driscoll. Is it slightly strange that since he's gone, suddenly we got a lot of injuries? And I don't say that because I'm not. It's not like me saying, "Oh, he was the greatest doctor known to man." Like, you know, it's not that. I think I've said this on this pod before. It's about when you've got a team of Don would speak better on this. When you've got a team that specialise in a certain element of a business, Carl would also know this. You run a team, and to use Carl's line of work, for example, like you're on the underground, right? And you've got a team. I'm sure there's a team who works specifically on the CCTV, for example, of the tube stations, right? And you've got a team together there. Let's just call it 8 people, okay? And those 8 people are run by a manager, 2 team leaders, and the rest of staff, okay? And everyone likes and respects the team leader and the manager, just like our players respect and admire Arteta, right? They're all on the same, they're all on board, they're all doing a great job, they're working in harmony. So you've got Arteta and his staff, and you've got our guy and his CCTV staff. It's a different type of job, but if you take out one of those key elements of a business, you change things. It's only natural. If you leave an organization and you take out one of those key cogs in that relationship, it changes. It's a supply teacher syndrome. You know, the teacher's not in today. Well, the class don't really do everything exactly as they used to do it, or they don't do anything at all. Now, I'm not saying that our physio team just went, well, fuck it, we won't bother treating anybody. That's clearly not the case. But you do have to ask yourself, if you let, you know, a guy of Gary O'Driscoll's levels go, and you don't maybe do the full due diligence, or you don't change the whole team. Because I think that's what I would have done. I think I would have said, right, he's going, let him and his whole team go. How many managers do you see? You've probably been through this at Peterborough enough times. How many times do you see when Ferguson comes back to Peterborough for the 17th time?
Yeah.
He'll bring his own team of staff with him, right? He doesn't just stay with the ones that were there from the previous. It's old crud. It's old news. Like, what was Alex Ferguson brilliant for doing? Changing his assistants. When people are going, why are you letting him go? Why are you letting Carlos Queiroz go? Whatever.
I mean, who is our assistant manager?
Well, I mean, I think it's Albert, but it could be any of the pit crew. You know, I mean, Carlos Cuesta, I think he's fast becoming a key part of it, because he's obviously young and he's very Arteta-like. And he's got some really good thinking. But honestly, you go to, like Fem will tell you, go to the games, you see him on the touchline. You got Nicholas Jova dealing with it. You've got Albert with his AirPods. You've got Carlos Cuesta. You've got 15 members of the pit crew changing Martinelli's boots and Odegaard's tyres. Like, Jesus Christ. You know? And again, that's, if you're the manager, you do that your own way. But bringing it back to the injuries, my point is, if you take out a key member of that team, that's got to be looked at in the summer. They've got to look at it and say, well, why are we getting these? You know, we've had, 3 players in the same season that have required not just a layoff from a hamstring injury, they've required surgery. Do you have any idea how hard it is to tear a hamstring off the bone? That, like, I've been running for 3.5 years. Never once.
I was in Bath the other day and I lifted my ankle up and my knee popped. I nearly died.
That's because you're 70 stone. But, like, do you know what I mean? You know, these are, I'm just Chris who runs around the block. Like, I haven't got the access to elite sports science and elite diets and all that. They've got everything. And I wonder if that's exactly the reason why we're getting these injuries, because they're micromanaging so much. Just let the players play. Like, let them come to you and say, look, do you know what? I'm actually feeling it. How many games has Ben White played through injury this season, last season? He looks a shell of him as his former self at the moment.
Kicks every ball on the touchline, doesn't he?
And that's not a bad thing. But
since Arteta came in December 2019, the following backroom staff have gone. Sal Bibbo, goalkeeping coach. He had been at the club since 2017.
Good evening, Steve, if you're watching. Goalkeeping coaches.
Yeah. Francis Cagigio. He's at the club for 23 years. Sal Bibbo went to Brighton. Francis was the chief scout. He went to Chile. Andreas Georgesson had been at the club for a year. First team coach went to Malmo. Kevin Beasley had been at the club for 6 years. Under 23 manager went to Crawley. Shad Forsyth been at the club for 8 years. Performance manager went to Dortmund. Gary O'Driscoll had been at the club for 14 years. Head of medical went to Man United. Ben Napper, 14 years. Loans manager went to Norwich. Steve Round, 4 years. Assistant manager, unemployed. That was never explained. Kevin Balvers at the club for 12 years. Video analyst went to PSV. Jordan Rees, 12 years. Medical director of physiotherapy went to Man United. Jack Wilshere, under 18s manager for 2 years, went to Norwich, now manager. Hopefully he'll get the job. Edu at the club for 5 years. Sporting director went to Forest. And Vinay, 15 years, made it all the way up to club CEO, leaving in the summer to go to Spurs. That, in the space of, that's 5 years. That you've lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's good because I only count to 15. 14 backroom staff have left in 5 years, Chris. That's like a list of all your conquests when you were at university. And that didn't take 5 years.
That's a long time ago. Celibacy's grown back since then. But in the interest of balance, does that not also say to us that he is aware of the circumstances and that he has moved to get stability in that, as we said before, Albert, Carlos Cuesta, Nicholas Jova, like he has retained some of the key men with him. My only slight concern is there an element of, is there a bit of a yes man culture there, do you think?
Well, we've seen with anybody who has an ounce of personality, a little bit of sass, as we like to talk about Frank's youngest daughter, Ruby. She stands there and you can see she's giving you the sass. You need a bit of sass to be a quality player. They know that if they have a little bit of sass, they're gone.
Mm.
I mean, Aubameyang could probably, if we'd have kept Aubameyang or Lacazette, I mean, Lacazette's still banging in the goals at Lyon and still doing a job there. He doesn't move much, but as we've seen from for Merino, you don't need to move much when you've got players like Saka and Martinelli pinging the balls into the middle of the box, or you've got Declan Rice and Partey doing pinpoint passes. Just stand there. Just go Gary Lineker. Just goal hang for the last couple of years of your career. Or Aubameyang, he'd have had something to have on the bench to bring on when we need them, or just do stuff like that. But you have anything about you, you ain't getting a game. He isn't having anybody at the club. Even Gunnosaurus, he had killed and replaced with a doppelganger for having a little bit of sass and being the centre of attention. He doesn't like it. He can't cope with it.
He doesn't like to be challenged. I get that impression. The one thing I would say is I do think he handled the Aubameyang situation quite well. I think that needed to happen.
Cut it off, or was it was going to make? I mean, he was Bundesliga bastard, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he was also like a hugely negative. Positive in terms of like everybody's mate, but very negative in terms of like what he was bringing, in terms of attitude.
Yeah, but then you look at the Napoli bloke who's now at Galatasaray, Victor, what's his name? Osimhen. He's an absolute arsehole. He's banging in the goals though. He's an absolute goal machine. Sometimes you have to put up with this shit for someone.
But he's also being paid about 500 grand a week. So, so I mean, like, we're not gonna.
He's off to Inter, isn't he? Or no, he's off to Juventus.
Juventus, by the sounds of it, yeah. But I mean, look again. Like, I have to keep saying this because I know what people will say.
Fuck them. They don't listen anyway. Mate, we've got 32 people watching. You people got nothing better to do with your time.
Well, the modern day thing to do nowadays, like I say, is clip up things and TikTok them, isn't it? That's
TikTok away, you fuckers.
Yeah.
If anybody does TikTok and want to run our TikTok account, you let me know and you can have the logins and fucking make us look good.
I don't even know. Speaking of Napoli, Genoa have just equalised. Yeah, I don't even know what TikTok is. It's one of those apps that if I ever downloaded it, that will be it. So I'm not going to download it for that very reason. But just to say, this is not a bashing. Like I'm genuinely not. Like,
no, it's pointing at. We were second and we got to the Champions League semi-final, and we were 2 goals away. Yeah. With the first half would have gone to plan, we'd have got through to the final, and I reckon we'd have had a chance to beat because Gabriel Mega Legs might be back for the end of the season. They were saying that, but he won't come back now. There's no point, just for a couple of league games.
No.
But we have all the ingredients. You've got everything there. All it took was a little bit of looking to what could go wrong. Not going. I mean, how long did he stick with Eddie Nketiah for? 2 fucking seasons. The bloke couldn't score in a brothel if it was free on Shagger Tart Day. He was absolute. When it comes to strikers, he has got no fucking idea.
Mm.
And it's not like he was a really decent player. Never played for his country. He was a bit part player at Arsenal for most of his career due to injuries. He was captain for a while, but that was in the dark, dark days at the end of the Wenger era. And he was only brought in because Wenger did a trolley dash.
This is why I get annoyed when people say to me about January and they're like, "Oh, wouldn't you rather that the club get the right player in the summer rather than just anybody who can do a job in January?" I completely disagree with that. Like, I'm sorry. Again, don't want to use Villa as they're the logical club to use. I'm not saying Marco Asensio was the right player for us, but he's done a fine job for Villa. And as you said, Rashford, personally, I wouldn't touch that if I had 14 elements of protection on.
I don't think Arteta would be the man to get anything out of he'd struggle to get stuff out of Rashford, whereas Emery's more experienced and he will let things go.
And it would be a Aubameyang on at Mark 2. It would be bad. And for the record,
6 months.
And I don't think Rashford will stay at Villa because I think Rashford has used Villa to get him his
back in the England squad.
Profile, to get his profile back up because he believes that he's Barcelona levels, etc. And I don't think, and I think Villa will try and sign him, and I think he will reject Villa, which is kind of hilarious, really, because they're the ones who've given him a chance to come back and prove that he's got
someone should say to Arteta, these are your 2 things. If we haven't got all of our strikers are out because Havertz got injured, Need to scroll up to the top of the page. Oh, I hate it when I have to scroll up on two monitors. I end up mucking it up. Havertz got injured on the 12th of February, and he is still our top goal scorer by 3 months. Our next top goal scorer is Saka, who was out for 3 months. So he knew on the 12th of February, did it during the Dubai thing. So at what point they did it and what point they announced it, there was a bit of leeway. But when he goes, hey, Hoos is out for the season, we know he's not coming back. We have got one bloke left who's not a 9 and he's not a 10. He's a versatile attacking forward. And what if he? The choice is, Arteta, do you take the risk in one hand that Havertz isn't going to get injured, or do you get a backup just in case he does? And he doesn't listen. And if you'd have got that backup, doesn't matter who it was, almost in this side that we play, when the attacking, the stuff that as we saw against PSG in the first half, the amount of chances we had, almost any top flight decent player, not necessarily world class, on loan, someone who's fallen out, someone who's a 20 million, like Trossard, he went and bought him. He did a job for maybe half a season or a season. That's all you needed.
You wouldn't even. I don't even think you'd have to say top flight. I think you could have gone championship level. And I know that's a wild thing to say, but there are strikers in the championship who probably would have got you 5-6 goals at the back end of the season.
That's all you would have needed. Because sometimes when it's all elbows and headers from 6 yards, Merino, when that's not working because he hasn't got the pace to get into the middle of the box, when Saka's gone off at 100 mile an hour or Martinelli has gone off at 100 mile an hour, and there's Merino going, I'll be there in a minute, lads. He gets into the box too late. That's not his fault. That's not his job.
You just need a goal threat, don't you? You just need a goal threat. Like you don't need somebody to be running the channels. You've got the wingers to be doing that. You don't need somebody to be putting the strings in the 10. We've got creative players. You just needed somebody who, I mean, there's the other argument of saying, why didn't you throw in one of the kids from the academy? I think
because the only one we got is a Deji Butler. I'm sorry about messing your name up. He's played 21 league games, I think it is, at League 1 and League 2, 0 goals.
Yeah,
he's got 10 in the under 21s this season. That's because he's 22 years old. He's a grown man playing with children. He's not like a Max Dowman, where he's 15 years old and scored 9 goals in 6 games.
We should stress, for legal reasons, we're not suggesting he plays with children, in a Jimmy Savile way. But you're right. And he was, I believe, he was on the release list in the summer, but they kept him because he couldn't find the club or something.
But you go back and listen to all the podcasts that we did in the beginning of the season, all the ones we did building up through the transfer window, which is probably a combined 3 podcasts. That's all every one of us said. We need to go and buy someone, buy anybody. I think we had a podcast that said, buy anyone, fucking anybody, just buy somebody. I'm going to go and have a look and see what the name of that podcast is while you talk about something else.
Remember when we did, do you remember when we were stupid enough to do transfer deadline days? Halcyon times, my friends. I want to look at the squad. I want to make sure we look at the squad before the Ocado people arrive. So I do want to do that in a minute. I don't think we need to go through the whole squad player by player, but I do think there's a few that I'd like to sort of throw your way and get your thoughts on whether you would look to keep, extend, or sell. Because I think there's a genuine question about a few that have arisen in my mind, probably even post PSG, where I've gone, I wonder. And albeit some of that will hinge on the summer business. We don't know, but the suggestion is that Martin Zubimendi is all but done. I've
is
heard
he any good though?
Yeah. Don't believe these people that have happened to tune into Real Sociedad TV on YouTube for 5 minutes and gone, well, he didn't really do much against Osasuna. Oh, well, he wasn't very good against Man United because I've only got UK TV and I can only watch him against Man United. Don't fall for that. He is a fan. Like, you don't get into Spain's midfield if you're crap. Like, you just don't. Look at the talent they've got. I think I said this before, again, like going back a few months. He's the sort of midfielder that could literally transform our entire play style. Like, he really is. He will give, Declan Rice will be licking his balls. He'll be that happy. Because what this signing...
If we could, we would.
What this signing will potentially do, and this might lead on to a player I want to ask you about in a second, is it will free up Rice to be the box-to-box 8 that he wants to be. So basically what he's been the last 6 weeks.
What a player he's been.
Yeah, but what a player he's been when they've given him that license to bomb on and
he is. I mean, if we did change captains, I'd immediately make him our captain because Odegaard is broken.
Well, I'll ask you on him in a minute, but the first one I want to ask you about is Thomas Partey. Right now, if you'd have said 6 months ago, new deal, I think most people would have gone, yeah, no.
I'd have found out where you lived and sent poop through your letterbox.
Yeah, because you'd have been like, questionable injury record. There's the things we can't really discuss because innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah.
And to be fair, we don't even actually know legitimately that it's him anyway.
This has gone on far too long for it to have much legs.
Yeah, I agree. So just a heads up, Liverpool fans, keep booing. By the way, you supported Luis Suarez, so sit down.
They're a bunch of cunts because look at a star boy Aaron Ramsey when he left. I'm leaving on a free transfer to go and play abroad, not another club. We rounded applause. We all loved him. Trent D'Arby, they're fucking booing him. He's going. He's not even staying in the country. You cunts.
I'm not a massive Trent fan, but I felt for him. Like that's fucking embarrassing.
Poor bastard. He's given everything to that side.
But we all know it's Thatcher's Britain in Liverpool, so you know. I cannot stand that football club. I'm sorry.
No,
I
can't stand the city. Apart from poor fuckers.
Apologies if you're an Arsenal fan from Liverpool, but please move. But if you just said that a few months ago, I think most people have said no. Now, a lot of the talk now has been actually we should or we could. I'm in the camp that sort of says if you get Zubimendi, you don't necessarily need him. But if Jorginho goes and Partey's happy to accept a 1+1, which I think
Jorginho's already signed for Flamengo.
Yeah, well, it's unofficial, but it sounds like that's going to happen. He's going to go, let's put it that way. So if Partey's willing to accept a 1+1 deal, or the Robert Pires contract, if you will, I think I'd probably do that. But the slight caveat I would say to that is it's difficult because you can't say too much without it being liable. But if the rumours persist, there's an element of me that sort of thinks you're better off just sort of saying thanks very much and moving on. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's like that I don't gamble. There's that game, isn't it, where you've got to roll 6. So roll is 1 season. First season we've rolled 9. Second season we've rolled 5. Third season we've rolled 4. This season we rolled a 6. Now do we gamble on another season and trying to roll a 6? Because it's not going to fucking happen. Whether it's the I need a new contract thing where they start playing better because they want a new contract and he wants that +1 that is on his contract. No, we don't. We can't have him in the side with Zubimendi. I know very little about Zubimendi, but that position, if in a pinch, Declan will go and play there.
But what I'm saying is if you sign Zubimendi, he's going to need a transition period. He's going to need, a little bit of time to get used to the speed of the Premier League.
Well, we're signing him early, aren't we? We aren't doing our usual sign him 2 weeks after the season started. No,
he'll be there for pre-season. But what I would say is if they do get him, what I'm saying is if you can do what they did with Gilberto Silva, okay, he started a lot of games early, but when he went through that patch of sort of form in his early days where he did struggle with the pace of the Premier League and he wasn't quite up to speed, they were able to rotate like Parler and Edu around him. And that's kind of what I'm thinking of Partey. If you've got that option, you could sort of say to start the season, you start Zubimendi on the bench for the first 5-6 games. He's going to be the first choice in the long run. And don't forget, you've got Mikel Merino as well. So his natural position, let's not forget, is a midfielder. So you have got options in that midfield if, touch wood, everybody's fit. And if you're going to bring in a striker, I mean, I'm just going to put this on record now at 8:30 on the 11th of May, 2025. If we do not sign a striker this summer, I'm going to burn my own testicles in the street. Okay, I'm just putting that on record.
Sounds fair.
I'm going to get a little walk and I'm going to hack them off and fry them in the middle of the street. And then I'm going to stop supporting Arsenal forever. This has to be the summer. But let's assume we get the striker. Well, Havertz is going to be moved back, isn't he? You already touched on it earlier on. He's going to move back into that midfield area. So that's the argument then where you go, well, do you need Partey? And the only other thing I would say about this whole situation allegedly. Would you agree that, let's say in a world that we offered him a new deal and he stays, if things were to go that way and it actually was, some of these allegations were proven to be true, the club wouldn't stand by him, right?
I don't think they can afford to in this modern era of handbag clutching. It's bad enough when they're not even nothing's been proved. It's still
a lot of stuff. Even allegations. I mean, look at what happened to Marilyn Manson. Like, even allegations can be. I mean, he came through it, but it was all just bollocks because of his on-stage persona. Like, I know that's an extreme example. Partey in a wig and fake boobs would be quite interesting. But
Tiger to get John excited.
But yeah, if the club, I guess that's the only concern I have, is if you give him a new deal and then it transpires that things do come out, the PR around that would be horrendous because you'd have to pay him off. You'd have to immediately get him out. I mean, anyway, let's move on because that's all allegedly.
Well, I'm just looking at transfer market going back last season. Zubimendi and Merino played in a midfield 4 next to each other. Season before that, they played in a midfield 3 with Merino playing on the left-hand side. Season before that, Merino played as, I don't know, was Zubimendi at the club back then?
I think
he was
playing his whole career here.
Another position. He was playing in the DM, just above the 2 centre-backs, and Merino was playing ahead in a midfield 2. So, I mean, he's had 3 seasons at least, before I go back and check any more, of playing with Merino. So maybe that's one of the reasons why Arteta wants him. I mean, that would be
lovely. He knows he's got a very good relationship with Odegaard as well.
Yes, because Odegaard was on loan there when they won a cup, but Odegaard didn't play in the cup final.
So, I mean, there is that base relationship.
Who was the other player who played at the club with them? Do you remember? Up front?
Alexander Isaac.
Hey, bringing the boys back together.
Get the band back together. Have they got a goalkeeper and a left back? We'll have them all. So I think that would be my thoughts on Partey. I would go 1+1 if he's willing to accept it, and we don't even know if he's willing to accept that. Somebody brought it up in the chat, and this is one that really is proving divisive because he's got beautiful hair. Riccardo Calafiori. It's if you'd have said to me even 3 months ago about Jakub Kiwior, I genuinely would have said to you, he's one of the worst centre-backs I've ever seen at Arsenal.
Another one who's been shat on by Arteta. You're not playing. You're sitting on the bench. All fucking... We don't want you. Face the other way. I don't like you. Turn the other way, you little bastard. Okay. Oh, could you come and play for us, please? Oh, it turns out you're really fucking good.
Bring the bowl, please, sir. But I genuinely thought he was up there in like Stepanov's kind of level. I just had no confidence in him. I just thought he was awful. Like, I just did. I really did. I've had to eat humble pie because he really has, like, he has impressed, hasn't he? Alongside Saliba. Like, since Gabriel. No, and what I really like about him that I never thought I'd see is he's become, dare I say it, like, he's quite a leader. He's quite vocal. He's willing to take the ball.
He's Polish, isn't he? I mean, as a race, they don't fuck about.
No, true. So with that in mind, and you've got Calafiori, who's missed large sections of the season with injury, is there a decision to be made there? Well, or do you say, well, we're selling 2 of our left backs, so...
First thing we need to do is work out. I mean, at the moment at the club, I made this list 2 months ago. Timbers played 22 games at left back. Gabriel 1, White 4, Calafiori 70, Tomiyasu 29, Zinchenko 193, Kiwior 35, which was a surprise that. Tierney 252 and Lewis Skelly 24. That's all the players that have played at left back. It turns out that White's position he's played the most is centre back, 208 compared to right back of 111. Tomiyasu's is also centre back, and Kiwior's is also centre back. So first thing you need to do is find out what position the future for Skelly is. So can you answer that question? And then I can answer you.
I was literally going to ask you the same thing. I would keep him where he is.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, because I think there's Ashley Cole.
You don't get an England team playing left back if you're no good at it.
Exactly. There's Ashley Cole regen there without the cuntiness. Like, he can be your left back for the next 10, 12 years. He's an Arsenal lad. He's come through the academy.
And I think...
And he moves into midfield anyway, doesn't he, when he plays from that position? So
every now and then Arteta goes up to Miles and goes, so he gets this printed picture of A4. He slowly turns it round. He says, "You right playing left back?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're right, son. You sure?" "Yeah." And he turns it round and he says, "Yes." And he knows on the other side of that piece of paper is a headshot. I had his name there. I've fucking forgotten it. He was playing at Lyon.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles is on the other side of that piece of paper.
Yeah.
He's on the other fucking side. You're right playing left back. You sure you're happy there? Because he knows you'll be fucked off out of the club if you, I don't want to play right back. God, boss, I want to play with you. Oh, you're gone.
What I really like about Miles is he's maturing. He's a very young lad with a really old head on his shoulders, isn't he? Like you look at him today, you know, he had Salah in his pocket for 20 minutes. 15 minutes. Then Salah spins him and he gets, you know, we can see the 2 quick goals. Salah makes him look like a bit of a fool and pulls him, you know, he has to pull him to the ground. He takes a booking. And then for the rest of the game, Salah doesn't get kicked. Do you know what I mean? Like that for me is a sign of a player who can.
It's such a steep learning curve for someone who was nowhere near the first team last season. And it was, if you'd have said last season, we've got Skelly's going to be our number 1 left back and playing for England. You go, no, shut up. You've been on the fucking wacky backy again.
You wouldn't have said that when Silvino was twatting him in at Stamford Bridge and then Ashley Cole trotted into the team, would you? So and then obviously Silvino had a slightly iffy passport, allegedly. But that to me, he's got that Ashley Cole like style. Do you know what I mean? He's got that
hard as well.
Yeah, he's a bit of a twat, and I like that. I like that about him. Not as much of a twat as the media would have you believe, by the way.
So we were agreed that's the future of left back is going to be him. A player we got for nothing. Wonderful. So Calafiori, thank you very much, you good-looking bastard. You can fuck off back to Italy because they all want you. How much did we play for Calafiori? Was it 45?
Was it that much?
40? I have got it written down here. And we got him for 33.6 million on 60 grand a week from Bologna. AC Milan, Juventus, Inter Milan, they all love players like that. He can go there and get his chest out and lay in the sun all year round and not be worried about getting stabbed to death in London.
See, I slightly disagree, but it hinges on the fitness. That's the thing for me. If
I've not been impressed with him when he's played. His position is centre back, not left back.
Well, yeah, no, I do agree with that. The moments you think of him this season have been like rampaging forward in the goal at Man City and that, haven't it? They haven't been for his defensive qualities. So I do slightly worry about that. But I agree with you. He's being asked to play a position that's not his own, just like Tomiyasu was. We signed, you know, he's a brilliant centre back and we played him at fullback. I mean, he's done a great job there, but he's not a fullback. Ben White is a centre back.
Players are built for certain positions, and if you play them out of position, asking Tomiyasu to sprint up and down the wing, go, hold on, I'm a centre back. I just make short sprints and defend. No, up and down the left you go, son, and the right.
And what did we say earlier on about the injuries? So we signed a player in Calafiori who had literally a career-threatening knee injury.
Yeah.
Who's made his name as an Italian centre-back. What do? We bring him into the club and ask him to bomb on at left-back and put more and more pressure through that joint.
Just like Wenger, Arteta thinks he can get players and get them. They've played in one position. Oh, you're going to play somewhere else now. Wenger was always doing that. And not always for the best. You're not always going to get a Lauren who's going to be a right midfielder who's going to be then turn out to be one of the best Premier League right-backs of his generation.
Oh, my loins when I think about Lauren. Oh, what a man.
Yeah.
Oh, what a man. Still remember his debut against Liverpool. Oh.
I don't. I was probably there. So get rid of all of the left backs. We don't want We don't want any more players who will cost a fucking fortune at left back.
Two are going to go. I mean, Tierney's Celtic's done, right? So he's gone. And he goes with our blessing. We won't boo him. Take note, Liverpool. And Zinchenko. I mean,
no.
I sort of feel like that's going to be down to him, isn't it? If he wants to go, I don't think
he accepts the move. Wherever he goes, he's not getting paid the same money he's getting paid here.
But he's got mid-table Bundesliga written all over him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's got Frankfurt, Dortmund written all over him. So I think I'd let him go. Is there a question mark over Ben White's future then? Because I think for me, like Timber has been. I mean, don't forget, again, Timber came back from a season-ending injury and has been absolutely flawless this season. Like I cannot remember a time where he's done anything wrong.
See, the thing is, you need to, when you're playing Football Manager, you have a couple of players that can play multi positions: left back, right back, Timber; centre back, right back, Ben White. Because if Kiwior is going to go, Ben White is a centre back. He's not a right back, so Ben White will be. If we've played nearly 50 games this season. No one can play 50 games. You say to Ben White, get yourself fit over the summer, and then you are going to be. You can play right back, and you can play centre back. And then occasionally you can. Josh said he used to play defensive midfield as well. I say, look, Ben, could you stay and be our utility player? You're going to get plenty of games. You've got a chance at winning a trophy or two. And then Timber can be the backup to Miles on the left, and it'll be our number one right back. And then you say, look, Timber isn't going to play 55 games a season at right back, so you're going to be playing some games at right back. And then try and not milk every single ounce of goodness and energy a player has by the end of December. So the rest of the season, they're fucked. Move them around a bit.
See, I would personally, I would keep Ben White. I agree with you. Yeah. I personally would actually have to duck for cover here. I actually would look at signing a left back. All jokes aside, but again, I would be looking to do the Gael Clichy thing all over again. Sign a young kid, who's got potential, who's got the right physique, who's got the right sort of. I'm trying to think of somebody in the Premier League that you could look at and go, oh yeah, basically what Liverpool have got in Conor Bradley. That's what you want as your backup left back. A player who's still got a lot to learn, who's coming through the ranks, who spends a season, maybe two, underneath the stewardship of a player who's more experienced in his position, and then gradually they do what Miles Lewis-Skelly's done. They take the position basically off the incumbent they had before. So I would look at a left back, but I'd look at a young, future prospect, not somebody that's going to be, stepped into the first team.
Well, you got that young. I was going to say that Ryan Manning at Southampton, but he's older. I thought he was younger than that.
Yeah,
but you look at someone like Ipswich or Southampton and Leicester. Between them, they're going to have someone who plays at left back that you could possibly. Tyler Dibbing, there's a player I'd love at the club.
Yeah, he's a winger, isn't he?
I think he's everything.
He's very good. I like the boy El Canouse from Leicester as well. I know we've actually been linked with him, but I've been saying for a few weeks, even prior to that, I said I like something about him. He's got that almost Riyad Mahrez kind of swagger about him. I quite like him, but he's a midfielder. And speaking of midfielders, if we're in agreement that Zinchenko won't be an option because he'll probably be moving on, Jorginho's going to go. Partey, we're probably, I think it's 70-30 that he goes at this point. But even if he stays, you're still going to need other options.
They're not going to have that Dubai money waved in his face for much longer, are they? Him and Trossard have had it waved in their face for a season and a half now. You can't keep saying no.
So on a scale, we'll come to Trossard actually, but on a scale of 1 to 10, which level of hatred do you have for our captain? I say
zero.
Zero. Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I think it's absolutely brain dead that people are questioning his level. Has he had a good season? No. Did he rush back from that injury because he knew we needed him and he was a captain? Yes. Are people using him having a child as an excuse? Yes, because there's way around these things. It's called a wife. I'm joking.
You need to build up if John was here now, the podcast wouldn't go as smoothly because John hasn't podcasted in 2 years. You need to be with the same people and build your rapport, and then things go smoothly. All season, he doesn't know from one game to the next who's next to him. So, if John came back in, which he might do, it might take a month of podcasts for him to get back into being the John at podcasting that we all know. Same with Ellis, another one who hasn't podcasted for a couple of years, all still in the WhatsApp groups. But Odegaard needs to have the same person next to him week in, week out, and next season that is going to be Declan Rice, and that's what we need. And then you'll get the very best out of him, because back in the Henry days in the first decade of Wenger, players knew where the other player was going to be without even having to look. And you need that. You can't for 3 months have Havertz next to you, and then you got Declan Rice next to you, and then you're going to get someone else come and play next to you, and then you're going to have Partey and Rice behind you, and you've got no one next to you. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Jorginho who's fucking doing everything all over the place. And you're going, oh, calm down, son. You need
consistency.
Consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you need, and also to make it a triple of C's, you need confidence, and it's
You
very,
certainly
very
do.
clear. You saw it even today. Like I thought he played pretty well today, but when he had an opportunity to shoot, okay, he hit one absolute howitzer that got us the equaliser.
Yeah, that's the only goal I've seen.
But he also had, I think, 3 or 4 opportunities to shoot. I think he had a very tame effort once. He lost possession that nearly cost us a goal as a result of not shooting in one. But it's confidence. Like, he was our player of the season for the last 2 years running. Like,
his best ability is to get the ball, run down the middle where the 10 is, in there, and then have a shot, lay it off to someone. His one isn't to go and keep going back to DM and getting the ball off of players and then zigzagging up the film and then tracking back and then crabbing it left and right. He's having to do so much work. He's knackered.
Exactly. He's not a transition player. He's a creator, isn't he?
Yeah.
And this is why Zubimendi excites me, because that honestly, like people don't realize how big a signing that will be if it happens. Honestly, like just. You can record this and TikTok your life out of it. He will be genuinely transformational, like absolutely transformational for this midfield. So
that's
we're
a good
both
thing from Patrick. Ben White right back, Timber left back, and Skelly in midfield, because his position when he played for his youth career, coming up to the under-21s, was the Zubimendi role.
I mean, he's playing in midfield now. He just starts at left back and moves into midfield when we're transitioning. I
don't like that.
I don't like it either. A left back to me is a left back. But and I agree. I take the point that he's made there, but I don't like Timber at left back, if I'm honest. I don't think that's. I think he's a far better right back. I wouldn't want him out of there.
But there again, I do love the Saka Ben White simpatico on the right hand side. It's just beautiful. The word simpatico, I heard that the other day and I quite like it. The link they have together on the right hand side is fluid, and you notice that when Ben comes back. And then Saka's there because he knows where you're going to be again. But I think Timber and Saka can build up that same relationship if he plays there all the time.
It was those 3, wasn't it? Odegaard, White, and Saka. That was the 3. Yeah. And I just want to address Anne's comment there because I don't agree. I don't think it's a silly argument, respectfully. I do agree he hasn't been good enough. I do agree with that. But to say you don't have a better alternative, whilst that might be absolutely correct, there's a reason why there is no alternative. And again, that comes back on the manager who has flogged him unnecessarily the whole season while he's also come back from an injury, which could easily have ended his season. I just think
he gets no protection. He gets kicked all over the shop.
He will be, give him a good rest, literally send him on holiday in the summer, and he will come back a different player. He'll have, last year he came back with a goatee. This next season he'll come back with a full beard. He'll go full Viking. It'll be great. Can I ask you about Trossard?
Very short. I don't like him. I don't like. He's not good enough. Get him out.
So you are the Josh Daw of the podcast. I disagree. And that's the beauty of podcasting. The thing about Trossard is he's very maverick. He can be really good and he can be absolutely horrid. There's no in between with Trossard. Like
you bring him off the bench and you go, oh my God, he's brilliant. He's come off the bench 3 games in a row, scored a goal each one. You go, well, you start. And then he starts and does fuck all. And you go, but you, how, what?
Yeah.
What?
So inconsistent. Like today, absolutely anonymous in the first half. Second half, he was brilliant. Like, it's just like, but again, that changed because he was moved from that striker position that we all know he can't play. And he moved to the left and looked brilliant with Martinelli going through the middle.
See, the thing with him, he's adaptable, and I don't want a forward who's adaptable. You don't see Saka playing left wing, then right wing, then up front, and then playing in the middle, which he's done a couple of times. I want one player. When it comes to your forward players, just let them do the one trick they're good at. Don't keep swapping them all over.
He's adaptable, but if he's happy, and again, this comes down to the player himself.
He's more simple than happy.
Well, there is that. But the player himself has to be happy with his game time, right? So if we're saying to him, look, we want you to stay, but realistically, you're only going to get 50% to 60%.
Is he getting a new 3-year contract?
I haven't heard that. Phil might know more. No. Phil might have heard something that I haven't heard. I think 3 years. I mean, 3 years, I suppose, is logical because he's of an age. Was he 27, 28? So he's of an age where you're not looking at the 1-year deal. You're still looking at sort of a good contract. I just think, don't get it wrong. Like if Saudi come in and say, we'll put 60 million. He's 30. Okay, he's older than I thought. If Saudi come in and say, here's 40, 50 million, then you'd be mad not to accept that money.
Because we've had no Saudi money yet. Everyone else is having their litter tray covered in dirham. I think they use dirhams over there. Gold leafs and dirhams and diamonds. And what do we got? Fuck all. Yeah. Give us some of that fucking oil money and take our twats. You bastards.
But if you don't have an offer on the table, and I think what for me Trossard is, he's arguably what we would love to. If we go out and sign a striker, right, and we've all been complaining all season, we don't have depth, we don't have backup in our squad. He is the ideal player that you have on the bench against PSG if your striker isn't doing it, isn't he? He just is. Like, he can play anywhere across the front three. He can play in that 10 link role. You put him wide. Like, I would keep him. I would. If terms are right.
He's played the most number of games this season at 54, but he is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What of anyone?
Yeah, but he's the 9th highest in minutes played, and he has got 10 goals, 9 assists from 54 games.
It's not terrible, is it?
Well,
how many of those starts?
Starts. He has come on 18 and he's come off 18. So you take 20, 36 have been starts.
So 36. So for an attacking midfielder, which is what he is, attacking midfielder, 10 goals and 9 assists. That's not bad in 30 games.
His PPG is 1.84 points per game.
It's better than Heung-min Fraud and Darwin Punez combined, by the way.
Isn't it hilarious how old Sin has absolutely shit now that Kane's got the whole club of shit.
But you know the best bit is, I don't know if I should say this because I don't want to jinx it, but if you're watching on podcast, wouldn't it be great to see it one more time in a final? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great? Oh, the memes we could create.
Come on, United.
Up United.
Fuck.
So that sort of covers, I suppose, the only other questions you could ask with Gabriel Jesus and Tomiyasu. You can't sell them because they're not fit. Gabriel Jesus is scheduled to be back around Christmas time. Tomiyasu, I imagine with Tomiyasu, we're going to go full El Nene, aren't we? We'll pay him off. And do you know what? Fair play. Like, I actually feel for him because every time he's played, he has been really good. And he's
been magnificent at times.
Yeah, and he strikes me as a really nice guy and a sort of guy like El Nene who is really good for the squad. So, you keep him on the rest of the season and you let him go into the night is probably what happens.
Yeah.
So the only other question I would ask you then is, unless I'm forgetting someone, which I don't think I am, if you assume we are going to go out and get a marquee 9, which, again...
No, I hope. I don't assume. I don't think we're going to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. So if you assume that is to be Sesko, Gyökeres, another, I'm firmly in the camp that says we still need a forward. Not necessarily another 9, although personally I would like a 9 and a forward, but I'm greedy because I think you need a backup as well. But we know we're not going to do that. So we go out and buy the focal point of a 9. Are you in the camp that says we still need another wide forward? Probably a left.
Oh, yeah, we do. I mean, I'd even sell Martinelli. I think he's peaked at the club. He's never going to be allowed to do what he wants to do. He's got La Liga written all over him. And go there, he'll score 40 goals a season because he's so quick and the game is so slow over there. So I'd love a left winger.
That's called the Anthony effect.
Exactly. I mean, that just typifies Spanish.
Well, it's basically like leave Man United and suddenly your career goes uphill again.
Well, it's just a waiters league, isn't it? I mean, another stonker today, Barcelona, Real Madrid.
Yeah,
he gets a hat trick and still loses. You'd love to see it. But someone on the left wing. But I think the first thing I'd want to do is I'd like 3 things. I'd like a striker, someone like Goalkeepers. I mean, he's been so consistent for two seasons now, plus 1 in the Championship. He's been really, really good. I'd love Eze, but I'm not sure Eze is going to fit when you've got Havertz at the club and a left winger.
I think Eze probably could fit if you
get rid of Havertz.
Well, I don't know if you, because I think Eze is another player who, again, he can play in the pocket either side. He can come from the left and the right. You look at when he cuts in, like that shot he hit the other night where he cut in from the left-hand side and bent one in. Like, you could play him as a wide forward without necessarily saying, like, people think a left winger just stands right out on the left wing, when in reality they play somewhere in between the gaps. So I don't think that would be crazy. And he is a player I do like a lot. I mean, the one we missed was Elise, who's been fucking unreal for Bayern.
He certainly has. Then we've also got to think, what's Nwaneri's future? I mean,
Nwaneri.
we're saying that Skelly's going to come in and take the first team place. Is Nwaneri, can he play on the left-hand side?
He's going to be Saka's understudy, isn't he? That's pretty clear to me. Like, he's going to be the guy who's going to share the minutes, which is nice because it might give Saka an actual break.
Sometimes I think I'd like to see Saka on the left side. I mean, I like left-footed wingers on the left wing. Yeah, imagine Saka on the left for a little bit.
Or in the 10.
I think he's got the skill to do anything. But like I said earlier, if people missed it, the last 11 Premier League games, Saka's got 1 goal, no assists. And that's, I think, 5 pre-injury and 6 post-injury.
He hasn't quite looked where he was pre-injury, which is natural. Like, he's
got some of the movement. He just hasn't got the electricity.
It's just not quite like the miss the other night. That spoke of rust, didn't it? Like even the miss today, a fully fit firing Saka puts that in the first few minutes.
A nice summer for him. Nice long rest.
Yeah.
Is there any pointless England tournaments in the summer?
No, it's the Club World Cup, isn't it? Which we're not part of.
Then we're not in it. I say all of you, and let them all go now. I say we're going to play the kids first. Oh, actually, no, we've got to take Newcastle.
We've got to be Newcastle first.
Yeah.
So here's a question: If you thought that there was any chance, and I think Charles Watts mentioned this on his podcast the other day, and I must admit I did nod along.
I've given up listening to all podcasts apart from Jimbo, and occasionally I listen to not another Arsenal podcast. That's it. I've unsubscribed to all of them. I sometimes when Stacey, when Sophie tweets her one, I'll go and have a look. But I did that at the beginning of the season. I was done with Arsenal podcasts at the beginning of the season. Isn't that terrible?
I only do Arsblog and Charles now. That's the only two I do.
Charles he'll go, blah, 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 coming up, blah, 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 coming up, blah, blah, blah. And then he'll talk about what he's just covered in the first place, and then he'll repeat it. It's a 20-minute podcast with 5 minutes worth of information. Bless him. He's a wonderful man.
I was going to say, in his defense, he's doing what the algorithm hits, and he's doing it very well. So fair play to him. But the point he made in this pod was he was saying he doesn't want a summer where if we get a whiff, like let's just say that Newcastle don't get Champions League football and Isaac is available, right? When I say available, I mean you can get him out of the club. If they don't qualify for the Champions League, he's gone. He's going somewhere if they don't qualify for the Champions League, right? And let's say Newcastle's asking price is 150 million. I'm just throwing that out there. No. What we do not want to do, to Charles's point, is we do not want to have another summer where we chase the golden goose and then we get to July 31st and he signs for Liverpool and we go, oh, fuck.
We don't want to be outside Newcastle's ground lobbing bundles of £5 notes over the main stand onto the ground until enough. No, another 1,000. All right, another 1,000.
40 plus 1. But also, not only do you risk not getting the player and then being screwed, the other impact is something you touched on earlier on with Zubamendi. For me, this summer, we're touring. Fuck knows where, aren't we? We're playing that lot up the road in Hong Kong, aren't we? Somewhere. No, I think we're going to America again. We need to have these new players in the door in July, like latest. If you can do it in June, like you need them in the building early.
At Singapore, we're playing Milan and Newcastle, and in Hong Kong, we're playing Spurs. Is that it? All 23rd to 31st of July.
We're doing the US, aren't we?
Doesn't say it on here.
Or is it Australia? Did it have something about?
No.
Is it on Arsenal.com? Anyway, we're going to be flying here, there, and everywhere. But my point remains: even if we were playing Boreham Wood like the good old days, or flying to Austria like Arsenal used to do, I want those players in the door. I want them integrating with this squad early.
You can't afford for the first 2 months of the season players mixing in with the team. You've got to get it done early.
Especially in our case, the focal point, the 9. That I actually feel slightly sorry for whoever we sign, whether it's Gyökeres, Sesko, or whoever it is, John Hartson, whoever we end up signing. That player is literally going to walk in the door and he's going to be sat in front of Andrea Berta and Mikel and the pit crew, and he's going to be like, right, just you this falls on you. Like we all know the history of the number 9 shirt at Arsenal. It's I can't remember the last 9 prior to Anelka that we had that was actually any good, and that's how long ago it was. I mean, that shirt it comes heavy. You talk about Dennis's old shirt. This shirt carries so much more. Like, this player is going to have to be, as you say, integrated. He's going to have to be basically starting every week, and he's going to have to hit the ground running. And if that is, for example, if they go down the Sesko route, I think he's 22. I think that's a lot of pressure on a young man's shoulders. Gyökeres, I think, is 25. You can check this, but that's a lot of pressure. So you need them in, and you need them in early, and you need that business done. I would be shocked if they're not getting, doing things now. I think Berta is, he strikes me as a guy who's got to come in and get things done. He strikes me as a doer rather than a talker.
Your players will be 27 in June.
27. Okay. So that alone makes me sort of think again and think, actually, he might be a better profile. I really like Benjamin Sesko. Like, I really like him. That goal, I don't know if you saw it, the goal he got against
no.
Was it I think, yes, he scored against Bayern last week. He's basically like, the goalkeeper misjudges the ball and he's running down the left channel. The goalkeeper kind of thinks it's one of those balls where, like, the defense is pushed up and the goalkeeper's the last man and the striker's running in. It's like a chase to who gets the ball first. And the goalkeeper comes halfway and he comes to the edge of his penalty area and goes, oh shit, I'm not going to get to it. Starts running back. Sesko, with the outside of his foot, like Trivela style, just whips it, not just into the net like a daisy cutter, whips it into the near top corner. It is, like, if you haven't seen it, look it up. It is phenomenal. And that type of striking, I think his stats at Leipzig this year have been really good. I think he's like, I don't think people realize he's actually scored a lot more goals than people think. I think he's got about 23 in the Bundesliga. So, I mean, it's just that risk of, how old is Sesko? Did you check that? Is he 23?
Hold on, Red Bull, and then top goal scorer. I'll have to scroll down. Sesko. Oh, he's not got an early number. He's got a late number. He's 20. It's number 30. He is 6'5". He'll be 22 at the end of this month. I mean, look at his numbers this season. That's what I was looking for. He's got 21 in 44, and Gyökeres has got 52 in 50.
Yeah, but Gyökeres is playing against pub players. So
but then you look at in Europe, Gyökeres has got, in the last 2 seasons, 11 in 17, and Sesko, I'm on the wrong one, Sesko has got 6 in 16.
Yeah, Gyökeres' Champions League pedigree has been, and he absolutely cooked City, didn't he? In those games. So I am slightly joking there, pub players, but the Portuguese league is, it's Eredivisie, it's Scottish Premier League, it's a bit shit. But
the Bundesliga is as close to the Premier League as you're going to get. And if he's playing there and the team are doing all right, and he's got 13 Bundesliga goals 14 last, and then the Austrian Bundesliga the season before that, he got 16 in 30. And then the Austrian lower league before that, he got lots.
You say he's doing all right. Leipzig have had a really tough season, so he's actually outperformed the team he's been playing for.
Yeah,
over there. Like they're
7th at the moment.
Yeah, and they sacked their coach, I think, a few weeks ago. So, yeah, there's another player at Leipzig I wouldn't mind, by the way, in Xavi Simons.
I always watch him and see what he's up to, and I can't figure out why PSG don't want him.
At PSG, I loved it. Him and Nkunku, when they were at PSG, I was just like, that's a crime to football, by the way.
Xavi has got 2 Tesco carrier bags full of sass.
Yeah,
and he knows it.
He's got that little bit of unpredictable, that little thing that we always say, that little bit of unpredictability, that spark that people, something that somebody who can just take a game and just do something magical and win it. Yeah, Saka's the closest we've got to it, but we haven't seen it.
He would have no future at the Arse because Arteta would not put up with him. He's only played 12 Bundesliga games this season, 5 goals.
Yeah, he's been injured. He's been out half the season. He'd make a great left back, though, to be fair. So we can get him in at left back. And of course, obviously, we all know
45 people watching this nonsense.
Well, I mean, it's a Sunday night. What else have we got to do with you?
All of our pods on a Sunday. I'm always up there again in the summer. Down the White Hart. That name. That's the pub at the end of my road, the White Hart. Wonderful, wonderful roast.
We've got a White Hart in Plymouth, actually, funny enough. I guess everyone's got a White Hart. Really just said there, who if you could have one or the other, who would you go for? It's really tough.
I would go Sesko because of the goal thing where you get 1.5 goals playing in top leagues and you only get 1 goal for playing in the Portuguese league. That thing, that's how they work out the golden boot, because they times, if you're in the top league, they times it by 1.5. So whereas he's got, I don't know, 45 goals this season, that's going to count as 45, and Sesko's got 14, that's going to count as 21. So
you're not worried about the age though? You sort of feel like
I am. I'm worried about the age at both ends. One's 28 and the other one's 21, 22.
Yeah, 28, you've got 3 solid years there, haven't you? You've got.
But it depends how much they want for him, because you know what the Portuguese clubs are like. They get them in for fuck all, and then they want a fortune for them.
We would have to pay.
Isaac is done. Isaac is out the window for me, because you're not getting him for less than 100 to 150 million.
No.
And I wouldn't spend that much money on one player. That money needs to be spent sensibly on a range of players. That way, you could get your Sesko, and you could go and get another striker who is willing to be the backup.
Or a wide forward who can play centre forward. That's the ideal, isn't it? Hugo Ekitike is another one who you might not know a lot about, but he plays for Frankfurt. He's young French striker, PSG, came through the ranks at PSG. He's had a really good season. He's announced that he's going to leave Frankfurt, but it's just a question of where he goes. And apparently Arsenal and Liverpool are the two that have looked at him. He's, again, another good option because he can play in the wide forward roles as well as a centre forward. So bit raw for me. I'd like to see him do it for another season, but it's an alternative. It's a really tough one.
He's another big boy, 6'3".
He's a big lad, yeah, and he's physical.
Got 15 in 30 in the Bundesliga, 22 all games.
Yeah. And he offers you, he's a big lad, but he's pacey as well. He runs in behind, and he did the Henry celebration at the toilet bowl.
But what sort of French player is he? Is he one with all the attitude and the sass, or is he one get his head down and get the job done?
No, he's a grinder, because he went to PSG, had a really good season at Reims, and he earned the move to PSG. They signed him and then just never played him. And I felt really sorry for him, because I remember when he signed there, and I was like, oh, don't go there, because it was when they had Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe, and you're just like, you're not going to play, mate. Like, what's the point?
They paid 29 million euros, and then they signed him in September 23, and then 6 months later they sold him for 16.
And he got how many for Reims the previous season? Something like 16, 17 goals for Reims, I think. 10
in 26 in the league, but all competitions, 11 in 26.
And Reims, to put it into perspective, they're like Everton in the Premier League. Like, they're a really lower mid-table side at best, struggling to stay up this year. So
his dad was French and his mum is from Cameroon. So being African, that will settle him down and give him a little bit of grasp on reality and make him. What's that? When you realise what you've got, there's a word for that.
I don't know
what the word is, but
clarity. I don't know.
No.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not against that. I just think that I sort of feel like if we're going to make a signing this, I think it has to be a fairly marquee name. And by the way, Patrick just raised it there. Make Arsenal Swedish again. We need a Swede. So that maybe makes you think Gyökeres, because
we've only ever had 2. Well,
we have not.
I think we had a young midfielder.
3, 4.
Oh, Rami, that's another one.
Anders Limpar, Rami Shaban, Freddie Ljungberg.
I forgot about Lundberg.
Are you forgetting Stefan Schwartz? Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we had a young midfielder who never quite made it. Central midfielder might have gone his time. Larson, Henrik Larsson? No, not Henrik Larsson.
No, yes, Larsson. Yeah.
Seb
Larsson.
Yeah, he was this really good player for Birmingham.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, really.
That's 6. And then didn't we have a young forward who never made it at the club? Who wanted to go home? Young Swedish striker. Or maybe I'm getting that Daniel Malin mixed up because he's Dutch.
Malin. We had Arturo Lupoli as well, didn't we? No, I don't think we had another Swedish.
No, he was Italian.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I was just saying, like, young strikers who were, never.
Cheers, Karen. Riccardo hasn't turned up yet, so we can still carry on.
Yeah, whenever they do, we'll wrap this up. But yeah, I think that we need to go marquee, and I think as far as left forward goes, I mean, there's talk of Nico Williams. I'm a bit meh on that. Like, it could go one way or the other. It could go
His numbers,
full
they're not
Alexis.
magnificent.
No, but he's got the raw.
He's got something.
ingredients. Yeah,
He's the sort of player I'd like to see at Crystal Palace for a year.
yeah, like Elise before he moved him. Yeah.
And as someone who can go there and shine, and then you go, yeah, we'll have him. Well,
Is there?
It's too expensive to have him and loan him out.
There's a bit of talk about Bayern Munich having a fire sale this summer and clearing out some of their old names. And there's 3.
They might even let Kane go. Bring him home.
No thanks. There's 3 that are on the market allegedly. Kingsley Coman.
Kim Kallstrom. Cheers, Noza.
Of course, Kim Kallstrom, the broken back. Yes, legend. Yeah, there's talk of, and of course for the women, there's Rosa as well. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
There's talk of Leroy Sané.
A player that Man City let go. He was magnificent, but they had someone else in that. Was it? I'm thinking Ramirez. That's not his name. They had somebody else playing in that position, didn't they? He's playing in Saudi now, from Leicester.
For Leicester,
they bought him from Leicester for Man City.
Mahrez.
Didn't Mahrez play in the same position as him?
Yeah.
And that's why
they let him go. So you've got Leroy Sané, you've got Serge Gnabry, formerly of this parish, and you've got Kingsley Coman.
Gittins, another ex-Man City young man doing well for Dortmund.
Yeah, and he probably will move on. But I have a little worry about Jadon Sancho syndrome with him.
That's not worked out, has it? He'll be back to Man United in the conference.
He certainly will, and end up somewhere like Leicester. But yeah, for me, they're all a bit damaged goods. If I had to pick one, it would be Gnabry, because ex-Arsenal, and could he do it for West Brom? No, but he can do it.
He's not leaving because he's broken. He's leaving because he just wants to change, doesn't he?
Yeah, and Bayern want to refresh their midfield and their attacking options completely. So Coman, I think, is long for Saudi. And Sané, I've just never really been convinced by Sané. Like, even at City, he was never really.
Yeah, I thought he was good, but
but he was a bit Theo Walcott, when he all pace, no brain.
Could he be one of those players that just looked good in a world-class team?
Raheem Sterling. I mean, Jesus Christ!
I mean, that's the entire podcast on its own. At 31, he's done.
I genuinely feel for him, but he's done because he was flogged to death when he was young.
Michael Owen syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Twice he's been taken off at half-time.
It's not his fault that he's not good enough, though, is it? It was our fault for signing him. It's not his fault that he's not good enough.
Another desperation signing.
From Chelsea.
Yeah.
How many? Jorginho must be the only one. Oh, and Yossi Benayoun, God rest his soul, wherever he is. They were probably the only 2 that ever worked.
Probably playing for some team called Maccabi something.
Yeah. So, actually, I imagine Yossi's probably a Sunday League classic. I imagine he's playing Sunday League somewhere.
I checked a while ago. He's still playing in the Israeli league at 38, 39.
Is he? Oh, fair play.
Like the other Israeli player who was always banging in the goals, and then he went off to play for PSV for a while. In fact, I'm always amazed by him because his football career was always really good.
I think I know the one you mean. I can't think of his name, but I think I know who you mean.
Yeah, I did have a list of these. I'm always fascinated by strikers and the careers they have. Like that other one, Kazuyoshi Muro, who's 50 and still playing.
Yeah, he's still going. Yeah, what a legend.
Uran Zahavi. That's the
Zahavi. Yeah. Not the agent, Pina Zahavi.
37 years old, and this season for Maccabi Tel Aviv, he scored 20 in 35 and 39 in 55 all games.
You just get them, don't you? It's like Arturo Vidal's still going, isn't he, in Chile?
In Chile. Yeah, no, I think he's playing in Brazil.
Oh, Brazil, is it? Okay.
Yeah,
Dimitri Payet's in Brazil as well, isn't he?
Yeah,
although don't Google Dimitri Payet, for God's sake.
And don't Google David Luiz hair.
Oh no. Oh, that's oh dear. It happens to us all. It happens to us all. Yeah.
J-Rob's here. J-Rob detailing Ireland. I'm getting the Merc. Merc sat there for 2 years. The roof has got green. The convertible's got green stuff growing on it. The boat's coming around Wednesday, doing a deep clean bad. It's costing me 180 quid. You can buy a car for 180 quid, you bastard.
Just 180 quid to you.
I shall take photos and put it on the Twitter.
Mm.
Oh, Noza, our Japanese man in the know. Kazu is a legend in Japanese football, though I think he should retire soon. He'll die on the pitch.
I think he did say it was going to be his last season. I'm pretty sure he did say this was going to be his final season. So, yeah.
Don't tell me £180 good. It's not. It's 130. Or if I want to go deep clean, I'm not even sure what that means. It's 180.
Deep clean can mean all sorts depending on where you come from. Don't ask for a deep clean in London.
No,
that's all I'm saying. I feel like we should.
The other thing is goalkeeper. Oh, there was a question I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you wanted to do any questions, because then you can be free for the Ocado man.
If you're building a team of world-class players, you can have as many world-class players as you want. What's the first position you fill, and then what's the second one you fill? See if they're going to be the same as me.
Well, striker is the obvious one.
Yeah, that's my first.
Left midfield.
No, I'd goalkeeper.
Really?
Yeah, and then I'd have centre back.
Even though David Raya is going to be, I mean, they've already signed Garcia, haven't they?
No, I mean, if you're getting the best players in the world, your first one.
Oh, sorry, you right. Sorry.
You're building a new team, and they're saying you can have all world-class players. What's the first one you're picking?
Okay, sorry. Right, yeah. Well, yeah. I probably would be more. I agree with you on goalkeeper, but I might be more leaning towards 10.
Well, it's debatable. I mean, you go Mbappe and you go Donnarumma at the moment because they're the best two in the world. If you're building a team on FIFA, you're getting the best ones, and then you're probably going to go. I'd go centre back, then I'd go 10, then I'd go DM.
I think fullbacks are becoming pretty important these days as well.
But you just know you got to get. If you don't have goals win games, people, as we all know, as every good interviewer says.
It's George Graham, isn't it? You build a spine.
That is important. But I don't think that can win you games as many as you won't win as much stuff like that. It just makes sure you don't lose. But back then, when you get a new club, the first thing you do is stabilise the team at the back, and that's what he did. But we've already got that. So my point was that we need a striker, and Arteta should know that, and he obviously doesn't like it.
Even the Invincibles were built on a strong backline, weren't they? If you look at it, okay, we had Henry and Perez and Wiltord and Ljungberg, but we built off that centre back. I mean, Christ, remember when Kolo Touré first came in as a centre back? We were all like, "What's this?" But that whole somebody else made this point on another. I think it might actually been the Football Weekly or Jimbo Pod. I can't remember. But they were saying this is why a striker is so important for this club in the summer, in terms of the mentality what it does to a dressing room. Remember, I hate using this word because it's so in at the moment, but aura. But do you remember the aura and the charisma that Sol Campbell's signing gave us? We literally, Arsene Wenger might as well have walked into that press conference with a massive chob on.
And gone around and smurfed every single one of the journalists.
Absolutely.
Listen to me, boy.
It's just and I still remember they called the press conference for Richard Wright, and hardly anyone turned up. So Arsenal signed this backup goalkeeper, and they just walked Sol Campbell in. It's just but that's it's that kind of size signing where you literally raise the ceiling of the whole club if you get that striker right. But you also have to feed him. Don't forget that.
Because you look summer 2024, we needed a striker. We had Jesus and we had Havertz. He didn't do it. Summer 2023, we had Nketiah and we had Jesus and he didn't do it. Summer before that, Jesus and Nketiah. Summer before that, possibly Jesus and Nketiah. You've had 4 summer transfer windows where he's not done any of it that he needs to do. So do you have faith that he's going to get it done this window?
Don't forget, even Aubameyang and Lacazette weren't his signings either. They were just there. I mean, I do, but it's not. I don't think it's. Hello. I don't think it's a. I don't think it's going to be all about Mikel. It's clearly going to be a Berta Mikel combination, isn't it? They're gonna. They have to get it right. They have to.
I bet if Arteta writes a book, Edu, if he could, but he won't, he'd probably blame Edu for a lot of the shit signings.
Yeah, I think Edu probably is at fault. I think Edu was the one who pushed Sterling over the line.
Oh God,
I think he knew he was going, and he just went, "Fuck it."
Didn't you used to be good, Sterling? Yeah, we'll have you.
I think it was a case
we're
that
saving. He looked at that and went, "We're saving 200 grand a week on wages. We'll have that. Well, look, I've saved 200 grand a week.
we'll do that deal." I think
Yeah.
the problem with the Edu Arteta era was actually not the job. I thought Edu actually did a really good job. The problem with that
You have the
relationship,
illusion of doing a good job. We haven't really got any proof.
well, yeah, and some people question how he sold, but I still think he got big people in that office. He had good contacts and he brought big name figures into the club. But where I think that relationship fell apart was they got on well. They were good friends.
They were.
That doesn't work. And what Berta's going to do is, well, what he's already done is he's going to challenge Arteta. And this is where you're really going to see, like Arteta might want Sesko and Berta goes, well, yeah, that's great. And he looks great. But personally, I think we're going to do Gyökeres. And that's what you need. You need a strong director of football who's going to say, no, I'm working with the board or the chairman, and this is where we think our money is going to go. And we think that while Sesko, and this is just to use an example, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but they might say, look, Sesko's long-term valuation is huge, is hugely higher. Yeah, but
5 years' time, you'll get your money back or more.
Yeah, but hear me out, because on the flip side, Berta might say, from a business standpoint, he might bring in more revenue to sell on value, but we need to win something now.
We've made 97 million from our Champions League run this season.
Well, there you go. Well, there's your striker. People talk about money. There's your striker. We're all right for FFP. We're going to ship. We're going to ship out a few high wage earners this summer. You spend that money on the striker, and as I say, I think Berta is going to be that sort of authority figure that's going to say to Mikel, look, this isn't about 2 to 3 year projects. This isn't about a process. You are now under pressure to win something for this club. You've been at this club for 6 years in December. We need to win something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a striker who is going to get you 20 to 25 goals a season, and you have no excuses. And we're going to win something this season. Exactly what Karen said in the chat there. He needs to be challenged. He does. And again, it's not a bad thing. Exactly. Formerly knows his head on the head. David Dean. Exactly. Read his book. It's very good.
Should we end the pod on a high note?
Yeah.
David Dean.
Well, yeah.
Does it get any better?
I feel like we've, considering where it started when you went on ranting. I'm slightly worried.
I'm just angry. You've given me hope for the new season. There again, you lot fuckers always do this to me. I'm going, August, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. But this is going to be the 5th season.
I'm as skeptical as you are. Like, I don't want to. I would like nothing more than to come on this podcast once every 7 months. No, once every whatever. But every time I come on, I'd like nothing more than to come on and say, boys, we're eating good. This is great. We're winning 3-0, 4-0. We're smashing this. We've got this striker. We're playing beautiful football, and that's important, by the way, as well. You touching it off.
Oh, it's so boring.
We need to refine.
Whenever Femi's at the game, he goes, "I'm so fucking bored."
It is boring,
this is so bad.
It's not just Arsenal, by the way. It's not just
atmosphere. Yeah, and that atmosphere gets to the players, and you are right. It's not just Arsenal. Teams are scared to lose because everything is so financially related.
I can count on one hand the amount of teams I like watching in Europe, let alone the Premier League. Like, there's so many dull. Like, City are the ultimate.
Watching Barca is always fun.
Yeah, Barca. I like watching Inter, but then I'm slightly biased. I like watching the new PSG.
Yeah, that's true.
Leon are fun because they're just all over the fucking shit.
Imagine them with a full season without having to put Dembele in the naughty corner a whole season.
But again, good management. Your star player's not doing it, you drop him. Comes back, absolutely smashed it. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think, the right signings, the right challenges made at directorial level in the summer. Get some of those quote unquote deadwood players out. We got a nice new kit coming out, which
that's another thing. We need a third kit that isn't a Lynx advert
and isn't white. Because have you not seen it yet? It's white.
No.
Yeah, it's white.
Oh, I might have seen it.
All the fanboys are creaming over it because it's got a burgundy collar, but it's still white.
Oh, yes, like the old Cesc Fabregas one.
Yeah, it's white with gold piping. I mean, it looks smart, but it's white. And the away kit is back to blue and lightning bolts. It's all right. Looks all right. It's smart. And the home kit.
I got Sean wearing a kit, as I sent you pictures. Got her wearing the pink one. I found one for 35 quid, brand new XL, because she's all booby. And with Saka 7 on the back, and she wears it all the time. Her new gentleman friend is a Forest fan and loves football. She said, I'm going to go out, I'm going to go and watch the Forest game. They're going out for dinner, and then we're going to come back in time to see the second half of the Arsenal game. And I think she's a winner on that.
Yeah, she's done well there, yeah.
You've got the best part.
Rumour has it, if she ordered the wrong thing off the menu, the Nottingham Forest owner would chase her out the restaurant.
Yeah, probably. That's unacceptable.
What a twat.
Oh, I've just done the kit, and it's got the... I better get this right. It's got the old one with Henri, Gilberto, and Theo and Seska sitting on the underground waiting for the train, and they're the old kit like that.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, it was done at Highbury Station, wasn't it? Or the Arsenal Station.
I quite like that. The white kit. It's quite nice. That will go nice with jeans. I mean, that's all they're bothered about.
Can you not show them on? Can you not bring up links?
No, can't do that anymore.
Screen?
Doesn't work.
I was going to send you the link to the home and the away kit.
I'm just going to go and find the second. I know what the home one looks like. Shit. The second kit. What colour is it? It's dark blue.
It's dark blue and lightning bolts again. Yeah.
Yes. Reminiscent of the old.
Again, it looks all right. It's a bit of a nod to the.
And if you don't like it,
it's
wait 12 months and
another
one will be out.
Era.
Yeah, get another one will be out in 12 months if you don't like it. Not like the old days
or
you have to be stuck with it for 5 years.
Or if you don't like it, here's a great idea. Just don't buy it. Yeah, it's just like, it's quite simple. Just don't buy it. But yeah, I mean, like there are reasons to be cheerful. I slightly question people that say, have we had a successful season? I do slightly question. I don't think you can call it a success because we haven't won anything. And I know people say, if Man United or Spurs, whichever one, they've had a better season than us. I disagree respectfully because they finished 16th and 17th, which is fucking embarrassing for clubs of that stature.
Anybody can get to a Europa League final. It's easy.
Well, they should be there. That's the thing. Like they should be in that. Just like Chelsea, should be winning. Yeah. So I mean, anything other than a win for those clubs, it is failure. But I think we have to treasure these days because sadly we know that Spurs will sack Ange and they probably will get a semi-competent coach who will last 9 months before he loses his will to live and get sacked as well. But they will probably be back in the top 6. Them and United next year. Chelsea will be back with 54,000. Well, actually, Chelsea will be back next season with Strasbourg's first team, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And obviously we know Liverpool are in PGMOL's pocket, so that's good. Newcastle will probably find a way to spend a lot of money this summer. And unfortunately, if Pep sticks around, it's inevitable that City will blow another 600 million and probably be back as well. So summing it all up, if we get our business right and Mikel learns how to use substitutes and maybe stops micromanaging the shit out of everything and maybe lets them actually play a bit of football, we might be all right. But you can't look at this season any other way than say it's been largely underwhelming because it has. And I'll be 15 points behind Liverpool. 6. I mean, that's.
I've got this Google spreadsheet that I do, and I update it. And so you take out from last season, game v game, you take out the 3 that got relegated. You take out Arsenal. You got 16 teams. So you got 32 results, home and away, for the same this season as we had last season. And on those 32 games, home and away, identical fixtures, we're 18 points down on what we had last season. For like.
That's a lot of points.
And season before that, we were up 12. I think the season before that, we were up 8. And the season before that, we were up 5. Like for like, season for season.
But we have improved in Europe. We can say that.
If we weren't so cynical, we'd look at this and go, it's a stepping stone towards something better next season. It fucking better be. Otherwise,
we've heard it before, haven't we? That's the thing.
So we've had 2021. So that's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. This will be his 6th season, whole season in charge. Because he took over in 1920. Not the year 1920.
Not the year. No.
Yeah.
I think we're all in agreement that he is the right man for the job right now. That could change, but he's the right man for the job right now.
He certainly is.
It's important that we back him. It's important that the board back him, and it's important that we get the right signings, and he deserves the opportunity to take us on as it stands. All I would say is, I think he has to win something next season.
Much like at school when you did your maths exam, I want to see you working out. I want to see why he makes his decisions. I want him to write it down, and then I will adjudicate on whether he gets fired in August, in July 2026.
And I want to see you get 19 out of 20, not 16 out of 20. I want to see improvement. Yeah.
That would be good.
Well, I feel like this has been cathartic in a good way. I feel
it's
like
been something.
Yeah, it's been something. I started in the light. I'm now in the dark. So, it's progressed. I still haven't got a light in here. I need to do that. Well, I have got a light in here, but not a proper light. I guess we'll be back. I mean, I don't know if you're planning to pod between now and the end of the season.
You said, yeah, I'd love to come back. We do a pod. I can do a pod every couple of weeks. Shame we only do one every couple of months.
Well, I mean, at least my average is good. I mean, it's
Femi's just changed. He's moved into another wing of the mansion, and he's got all new monitors and backdrop and lights, and so he's nearly got that done. Josh has got a new place to live, and so he's just getting his one on the internet, and his computer's all set up. Carl has gotten a promotion at work, so he's now out and about talking to the plebs, which is nice for him. So he's busy doing that. And who else? Nick works shift, so that's always hard. And so get some of them back. I'm thinking there's another couple of people that I might ask on, see every now and then, see if they like them, see if they're any good.
So in short, we'll see you in October, basically.
Yeah,
so
just in time for the January transfer window.
Enjoy your summer. Yeah, well, I mean, I say we've got Newcastle and Southampton. It'd be nice to have a little sort of.
We only need 2 more points to guarantee Champions League football.
Yeah, or if results go our way, we could beat Newcastle and secure second if results go away. Because I think City have got to play. I can't remember, but they are away next week, and I think Chelsea are away. So I mean, yeah, but, we could secure it next weekend. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Be nice to finally end this bullshit of Eddie Howe and send them packing for another season. But and show Isaac what we're all about, because we can't sign him, and it makes me sad.
Just do a cesc on him, hold him down, and put an Arsenal shirt on him.
Yeah, there you go. That's the way to do it. What a way to end it.
Yeah,
I think that will do us. But thank you to everyone who's popped up in the chat, and a couple of the new faces as well. Thank you, because without you, it's pointless. Let's be honest.
Well, it's kind of pointless anyway.
Yeah, but that's fine.
If you are new and you did like the show, don't bother subscribing. Don't give it a thumbs up, and definitely don't comment, because I'm not going to read them.
This is why we don't get views. this is
We've
why.
Been stuck at 7,000 subscribers for about 8 years.
This is why.
Wonderful.
Danny's marketing skills 101. Don't follow them, people.
Don't bother.
Don't follow the algorithm. I will say, flick the bell and give us a thumbs up on the YouTubes and all that jazz, because it makes my dingle tingle. Less said about the better. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us. This has been a Bergkamp Wonderland and an Arsenal podcast, allegedly. And we'll see you soon. Maybe before the end of the season, maybe not. But we'll get a striker.